Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. You don't look disabled. So, um, this is the thing that we actually been delaying to do, which is ironic. Um, I'm forbid to say the theme. I'm trying to not say the theme. I'm trying really hard not to say the theme. Okay,
You can say it.
now I cannot say the theme. You're going to present the theme. Okay, I'm just kidding. The theme is, uh, I'm too lazy to say it. Please
It's
don't say
amazing.
it.
It's executive dysfunction. Hello. I was just commenting here in chat how ironic it is that we start an episode on executive dysfunction late. We're late for this episode. It's absolutely hilarious. Um, for peeps that don't
Yeah,
know,
but yeah.
executive dysfunction is something that affects people with multiple conditions. They can be neurodivergencies, they can be cognitive issues or health problems. And basically, it affects your ability to perform tasks, to have cohesive thoughts, and basically anything that involves cognition in a organized way. I would say.
Well, there's a lot more things. Like it requires like working memory has to do with that.
Yes.
It has to do but a lot of things are related to working memory on this in terms of like executive function. Uh, I think you said pretty much everything. Time management and task planning. I think,
I didn't mention
yeah.
those, but yes.
I don't know. My memory is something today.
Oh,
Everything is
the
something
executive
today. But
dysfunction is
yeah,
something then. We start well. We start very well,
quote me
guys.
on that.
We are checking all the boxes on this.
Yeah, we are being so something. I cannot even describe it. Like we're just listen. So to be clear, we are both overwhelmed in different ways, I guess. But
Yes.
so that's why if we sound a little slow or
I'm clearly just training my masculine
stupid,
voice. It's
it's
not that I have a huge headache or that I'm starting to feel absolutely sick or anything. No, it's just I'm just being the perfect trans here. That's what's happening.
they're putting the voice to actually do some like trying to sound more masculine or something. Me, I'm literally being more slow because I'm trying to be cautious with my speech and not because I just I just feel like my head is very full of things and that I'm almost in the verge of breaking apart at any moment. So we are
Yeah.
fine, peeps. We are
Yeah.
fine. We are clearly fine. Yeah. So we are two disabled peeps that we deal with this sort of thing, with the executive dysfunction, among other things. But we are going to focus more on executive dysfunction today. Um, and I mean, did you mention that it's related to neurodivergence? In this case, it's related to our ADHD or attention deficit disorder. No, there's more. Attention deficit. Today's hyperactivity disorder. I, 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 I spent the whole goddamn time just saying ADHD, and I could not even pronounce the name correctly. So
God
yeah,
dang
it's
it. We are very fine today.
we are very very fine. We are very fine and refined peeps. Um, well, everyone has bad days, I guess. I
Yes.
guess.
I
I guess.
guess.
Yeah. So something. Okay, let's get into the theme.
Yeah,
The
start
theme.
talking about
There's
our
like
beautiful experiences with executive dysfunction. And by beautiful, I mean painful, uh, terrible. I do not recommend. Please, why do I even have executive dysfunction? I hate it.
yeah, same. Well, I just have to say, like you said, there never was sort of neurodivergencies. Yeah. So I'm going to mention in which ones the executive dysfunction is a trait. The ADHD is one. Also depression,
Mhm.
anxiety. I mean, anxiety is pretty much executive dysfunction. Um, but also I don't know.
Also, autism.
Yeah, intellectual disability as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's several. I cannot remember. Even
There's a lot of them.
Alzheimer's illness
Mm-hmm. I would
disorder.
assume that OCD as well.
Yes, I think so. In a way, I mean, it's a bunch, and it's a bunch of stuff. Like I didn't do research on this one this time,
Listen, people
so
that suffer from chronic pain also have executive dysfunction because hello, body does not work. Boop boop, shut down.
uh, yeah. Sorry, I was checking chat actually, because this time actually I have
Yes,
access to.
we can check chat. Hello. Oh no, they're gonna be even more chaotic. Oh no,
Yeah,
no one
yeah,
is
I'm
ready
gonna
for
be more
this.
chaotic. Okay, so we're going to. Ah, there's chaos here. There's chaos. It happens. So we're going to start our own interventions about this issue. And who starts actually? Well, I present the theme. I think I should start, or you want to start? I don't know.
Yes, yes, please. You start. Tell me. Jesus, my words today are something. Tell me about your experiences with executive dysfunction, Rimbi.
Oh, you want to? Oh, it's a tremendous, very interesting story. Um, well, actually, it was actually the first suspicion that I probably would have ADHD. It's very interesting. It was executive dysfunction because, um, yes, autism has as a trait, but it's not like the most uh, prominent trait. It's basic. It's more of the ADHDs. Uh, uh, I cannot check chat. I start to laugh, and then I cannot okay. Um.
Rimbi does not how to know how to be a streamer.
Oh, Empire is here.
Empire.
Hello! Wow! My goodness, I'm here. I can see. I can see people here. So back to what I was saying. Um, and this is the thing. It was like my first suspicion, but at the same time, I felt that it was not enough to get me ADHD diagnosis. This was like more than a year ago. But I guess I struggled with that a lot, and I was blaming myself all the time, which is like the most common experience of any ADHD people. Like they just blame themselves for having a oxidative dysfunction because society that is so apologist and welcoming of disabled people. They have the empathy to understand that extra dysfunction is normal and it's not laziness. We are not lazy. We actually take just have a struggle to have time management. We will lose perception of time. We have trouble to start tasks. um, we have trouble to um, set deadlines. No, not just set deadlines, actually.
It's not
uh
about setting as much as it is
like
about. I feel like
doing, I don't know what the word, doing things under the deadline that.
meeting the deadlines.
Okay,
Yes.
meet, sorry. Yeah, thank you. We have trouble with that. We have, I mean, we have, it's a lot of trouble, to be honest, that I cannot even mention. um and and society understands that perfectly, and it really thinks that we don't we cannot control that. uh
No, Rimbi, you're just
is
lazy.
it
What are you talking about?
I thought society was more welcoming of us, that was actually understanding of our struggles and dysfunction, not calling us lazy. How foolish of me. Foolish. Foolish of me. No, but actually, this was a slash sarcasm segment. Because actually, this has to do with, I didn't connect that, but the time, but has a lot to do with the system that we also live in. Because if you go with the social model of disability, it's like basically what means that model means considers disability as a byproduct of living in a system that is not accessible to us. It's not built for us. So it's basically they put the blame on. So basically, um, because we live in a system that is so focused on productivity, I mean, a capitalist one. With if we, I'm struggling to stop today. So if you
It puts the blame on the
It is.
individual instead of putting the blame on the
Yeah,
system.
it does. Yes, because the system is so focused on productivity, and then when they see people not being productive or being overly productive but not in the things that matter, this means work, actual work, not stuff like hobbies and
Twitch.
uh, yeah. Listen, this has been my life. Actually, I feel guilty for working things that are not jobs, not related to jobs. So
Mood. I feel like I'm not working when I'm literally doing music arrangements for my other channel, in which I'm literally using them to play on stream and making money with that, and yet I'm making arrangements and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I am not working. Uh, you are literally fucking working.
yeah, if you do something that uh, you consider that is productive, you are working. Even if you don't gain, even if listen, if you don't gain money from that, you're still working. Because that's the thing. A lot of things that I've been doing besides the stuff that is mandatory for me, I don't gain anything. But I just feel like it's work because uh, I mean, because what it means to be work, like means doing something that has an end product, or at least starts to be an end product. That's what it means to work, I
Hmm.
think, in my definition. So it doesn't have the the monetary compensation after that or
Hmm.
during that, whatever. That's what it means to work. And so anything that you do as an hobby, like for example crochet, or I don't know, writing stupid poems
Which is
that make
still
no sense.
technically work, but guess what?
But guess what?
I'm saying that all of those are technically work, but they are not seen most of the
Oh,
time
that
as work.
now you're talking about perception, like how.
I'm talking
But
about societal perception.
yes, you're talking about societal perception. Yes, they might see me, for example, reading articles and stuff. They don't consider that as work, but I do consider it as work. But but of course, people don't consider it because it doesn't have a monetary compensation. That's it. So Empire said, is there a current system anywhere that is 100% accepting of disabled people that you would want to see implemented? Uh, current, if there is, only on books. It's a
Yeah,
very,
but
it doesn't exist,
I was basically
literally.
gonna talk like, yeah, implemented now. I was basically gonna say about how there are models of society that defend that everyone should have access to housing and food as a given, and
Mm-hmm.
extras then are
Mm-hmm.
things that you can gain if you actually do something quote unquote productive, and everyone will do something, because not people don't want to just live on basic house and food. People will want to product. It's just that there is a cult of work. There is an excess of the work that people do. We have so much technology that could substitute human work, and yet every single time people go like, oh, on supermarkets now there are machines and people don't need to be they're working 8 hours. They are taking our jobs away from us.
Here's
It's
the
this kind of
thing.
mentality that people always have to be
Mm-hmm.
working in order to deserve things that right now we don't need people to do them. We don't need people to be working on them. We have enough technology to supply for us. In a lot of
Yeah, but here's
of
the
cases,
thing.
that's the and that would be a model. Let me finish. That would be a model in which, for starters, would benefit everyone and not just disabled people. In terms of disabled people specifically, well, let's face it, disabled people shouldn't have to work as much as other people do at all to start with, because I literally do not have the means to. I slept 12 hours today because my body collapsed again, and I am dying with a headache right now because I worked a little bit today. And this has been my everyday life every day. You know, why do I have to work more than 8 hours a day? You know, doesn't make much sense. We don't, we have the means to not have a society like that. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, Ribi, now you can interrupt me.
Uh, okay, I took notes mentally of what you said. Uh, so here's the thing. You argue that you have machines. Um,
Hmm.
yes, we need to
I
have, but
didn't mean I didn't need specifically. I don't mean specifically machines. When I say technology, it's all kinds of technology.
okay, doesn't change what I'm going to say. But
Okay.
anyways, um, the problem is, listen, because we have machines and such. The problem is we had to change the system itself because
Yes, definitely.
if because because the capitalist system has its basis on exploiting the most people that they can, to
Hmm.
maximize the profit. Everyone knows this. This is not a surprise. So if you insert machines, there's no people to exploit. So you know So here's that. Like that's why they don't use machines to or technologies, whatever,
Hmm.
to substitute the people work because they will do it. Because it's the thing. Industrial revolution. There were machines, there were technologies, but there were still people doing the labor. And it's been like 200 years after the industrial revolution,
And we're
due
still
to
doing the same
logics,
jobs.
and we're still doing jobs, the same jobs. So that's what I'm saying. That's my kind of like it's not even a counterpoint, but it was just like a note. Um, okay, let me see. I would argue that there has to be an option of disabled people if they want to work or not. I think this is a little different, slightly different for me to defend. I think. I
I
think.
guess I wasn't putting it like that.
I think. This is a thing. This is like a slight modification. Um, because uh, and this is actually kind of like um, against the emancipation movement behind the disabled community. But we're going to get that on later, I think. Because I think that we should actually choose if you should work or not. Because
Okay, I guess
because
people
not everyone
shouldn't be
can actually
forced
work.
to
Like,
work. That's the thing. Because when we say
yes,
not
that's what I want to
working,
say.
we always
Yeah,
mean forced to. Because we will work.
yeah.
If
That's what I.
if I am in a situation in which I don't have to work, I will work. Because people get bored if they don't work. Let's face it. If you don't have anything to do with your life, you get bored. You will want to do stuff.
Yeah.
You will do stuff.
Yeah, at least here's the thing. I'm also very anti-work, but I would be like, okay, but I need to work a little bit because I can get bored. When I say this, is we need to remove the coercive nature of work. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Sorry. But so when we eliminate that with the choice of like, do you want to work or not? Because if you do work, you can receive more. Because if you don't work, sorry, I had to start this backwards. If you don't work, you still receive a living. That's basically the model that
Mm-hmm.
I feel more inclined to defend. You
Mm-hmm.
still receive money enough to make you a living. You don't get luxuries for Christ's sake, but you pays the bills, it pays your food, it pays your housing, whatever. But if you do work, you get more than that. You can buy your
Internet.
stuff for your little thingy on Twitch.
Yeah, a pet.
I
Other
mean,
stuff.
yeah, I don't know. A Tesla. A Tesla car.
A car.
Just kidding.
The headphones.
No, a Tesla one. You're gonna
Oh yes, I'm
no.
gonna work my ass off for that.
Yeah, we're going. You get what he meant. But the topic is exit dysfunction. We're just going.
I mean,
You're just going like.
it's related because put
I
it
mean, it
this
has a.
way. We are talking
Yeah,
about
it's
how the
related. I
way
don't
we
complain.
are forced to work, and a lot of the work is extremely harmful to at least me as a disabled person because I need to work at my pace. So, for example, Twitch is great for me overall because I decide when I stream, I decide when I do my scores, I decide when I engage in my community, I decide when I talk to other people. I make my own schedule, I choose my boundaries, I choose what I can do and what I can't do. And if I need to change a schedule, no one's going to stop me. If I can't stream in some day, I will stream in another or not at all. And who is going to, tell me that I have to? Probably my community, because if I start missing all the streams, they'll stop giving me money. But apart from that, uh, okay, I make my own schedules. I set my conditions. When I have to work outside, we start having a lot of stuff. For example, um, deadlines. And deadlines are a very hard one for me, and I'll talk about it in a bit. I start having other people imposing me when and how to do my job. I start having people telling me how I should spend my energy and when. And a lot of times I don't have any control about the timings that I have to do stuff, as in how many days I have to perform a certain task or not. And I'm told stuff like on the spot, you gotta do this, it's for half an hour from now. And I'm like, sure. And I don't even have the spoons to initiate the task. And that's when executive dysfunction gets very hard. I can't choose to just initiate a task. I can't choose to just, okay, I'm gonna do it. No, I cannot do that. I need to go through a whole mental preparation to start doing it. Usually I need to, for example, I invited someone to go out tomorrow, and the person told me that they would tell me until today if we were going to go out or not. And I was like, sure, fine. But the person didn't text me, so I was like, yo, I just need an answer. And the reason why I ask is literally, when I go to bed, I need to know if tomorrow there's something or not, because I need to know how many spoons I need to have, and I need to make my schedule. And if anything gets out of that schedule, I am going to be mad, because I cannot perform those tasks because I didn't prepare myself for those. I need a lot of preparation to start doing something. So when people just get to me and start going like, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that, or it's not going to work, I cannot bring myself to start to those tasks. It's not going to happen. So, and another thing, but this is, I guess it's not really about executive dysfunction, is the fact that I kind of work far away from home a lot of times, and I have to drive a lot, and I have a lot of pain, and I get overwhelmed very easily, which will just make it worse for me to start any tasks, even the ones that I've supposedly already prepared to. About deadlines specifically, in what concerns my case about executive dysfunction, the reason why I didn't think I had ADHD for a long, long time is because I never struggled with school. For me, school was pretty easy. Um, it started getting a little bit harder during college with the deadlines, because the teachers were all like very chill and like they didn't care for us. So I didn't feel pressured. I need a lot of external pressure to do stuff. So like
Same.
in college I struggled once or twice, but once I finished college, I was left so clueless. I actually never applied for a PhD. Well, now it's because I don't have the time, the economical means, or the spoons. But for a while, it was really just because I couldn't bring myself to do a PhD proposal. Basically, I was like, oh, I have until day whatever to start working on this, and until day whatever to do this. But no one else was pressuring me to do so. There was no one else telling me to do that, so I
Oh
just
no.
didn't. I never did. I never started it because no one was telling me to. And I thought about like writing some things and about starting project X or Y, and they never happened because there was no one else telling me that I had to do them. There was never a deadline. And even if I tried to impose that deadline on myself, my brain would go like, is that a real deadline, or did you just make that one up? And I'd be like, nah, I just made that one up. And my brain, okay, not
Oh,
important.
that you the realistic setting a realistic guidelines. What is such a ADHD mood? Because I want
Yeah.
to talk about my experience later
Uh,
when you finish.
yeah, let me just say that's the moment in which I was like, maybe I have ADHD, because I looked at the symptoms and I was like, as a kid, I had literally all of these. Just I was a very good student and I never really struggled with deadlines because I loved school in what concerned the learning part. So but now that I don't have external pressure, I can't bring myself to do anything, and I'm starting to feel a little bit depressed about this. Maybe I should check this out. you know,
Oh,
that was the moment. And the reason why I got an ADHD diagnosis was because my executive dysfunction was very red flaggy. Now you can go, Rimbi.
uh, okay. So I was just addressing chat. Now I'm
Yeah, yeah,
back.
yeah.
Uh, okay. The situation that's actually made me think maybe I have ADHD was also uh, was not with a PhD proposal because I'm not that smart to do that. Well, let's face it, it's hard. Um,
Jesus, you are just young. You are still finishing your bachelor's. Please stop bringing yourself down like that.
Finishing. Oh, that's very interesting to say. Finish.
What the
Okay. What? What happened? Okay.
Never mind me.
Okay. So I actually got the thing like maybe I have executive dysfunction was when I was starting the goddamn project that I've been tired to talk about this. Oh my goodness. I wish that there was a day that I could talk about that nightmare. I hate. Uh, I resent at this point. Yes, that was the moment like, okay, this is getting too much. Because let's break it down in this thing. So this thing that was called the research project has many steps. Many steps. It include and I was like it basically consisted in a systematic literature review. I don't know if you say like that. I think you do say
I
that.
think so,
Anyway,
yes.
I think though, whatever. And that thing was already nightmarish enough. But no,
Yes.
no, I decided to went a step ahead. Like no. I'm going to do this thing. Qualitative. Qual, mm,
Qualitative?
the qualitative. It was qualitative research, which basically required of questionnaires. That thing was
Isn't
never
that
done, but
quantitative then? If you are doing statistics, if you're doing statistics, it's quantitative.
Mm, it was yes, because I was planning to actually do qualitative because I wanted to have people's perceptions, like because at the time it was not uh, doable if I did just like multiple stuff like multiple question. Is that what you say? Oh my goodness, I'm good.
No,
That type of thing.
when you need to choose one options of
Multiple.
several. Fuck.
Yeah, basically. And it was not doable, so I was like, I need to people to elaborate on what they feel when they go to a session. So that's why it was qualitative research. But there was like a backlash that I could not do it. So yeah, I abandoned that. But I was also struggling to exit dysfunction because I didn't know how to do them because
Oh, it
yeah,
is
I was
multiple
pretty
choice
ambitious with my
questions.
yes, multiple choice questions. Thank you. And then after that, I was supposed to also do a kind of like a set of guidelines in how to improve the thing that was researching. So those both things were never done uh, because of too much executive dysfunction, and also because I was not able to do that, and also depression, also fatigue, whatever, many stuff. And that's what the time. So I stick with the thing that I was supposed to do, basically. And that thing was still very like difficult because it requires a lot of steps. Like it's not just like you open an document and you start to write. No. You have to do a lot of things like research, organizing information, systematizing everything, putting the references. It's a lot of steps. And
Mm-hmm.
people and I have this realization like months after that I did shit. Um he has a lot of steps, and that's what and neurotypicals. It's already difficult to do stuff like that. It's difficult, but imagine for someone that has ADHD, you cannot start this thing that has too many steps. You just cannot. You just feel overwhelmed just looking at the thing. And that's what was happening at the time. I could not even start. Like, no, this is so much. No, no. It's like you just look at it. It's kind of like a big pile of dirty clothing. It is overwhelming. You don't want to start to do the laundry with a big pile of clothing. So what do? You decide to divide the dirty clothes in like small piles, you divide them, and then you hide those things because it's too much for you to see. And then you start by one pile at a time, small steps, because you have to make your mind like, okay, I have to do this, but I have to do this not with this big pile of thing. You have to do with small piles. And you will do it over time, gradually. And that's how you handle.
You're such an inspiration. I cannot do that.
Well, I never happened to actually have a big pile of dirty clothing, but actually I
Yes, I also
had
don't have a big
dirty.
pile of dirty clothing, but with other things, I understood the metaphor and it doesn't work for me like that.
For me, it kind of does. It kind of, but it varies very much. And that's what I had to do with project. Like, okay, I had to start this part today and the other part today. Well, it's a little utopian because sometimes I would just shift the parts. Like, no, I'm too tired to do this. I'm going to just shift to the other. But I had to, mix a little bit the methods. But I mean, the thing is done. But regardless, this is one technique. There's several techniques. Like the other technique is actually you just when you walk by a stuff that you have to do, like a tax that you need to do, like some dishes that are in a sink or just some clothing that is in the ground. You just do it right away. You don't wait. You don't say like I'm going to do this later. You do right now. That's at least I think this is the method that works for me the best because I actually have the urge to actually do it. It's like I have to do it right away at least, and that's why people can seem as impulsive because if I don't do it right now, I will never do it. So I have to do it right now, and I have to do it just
Almost.
right now. Yeah, so that's why
I
I'm very
kind of have that. When people
yeah
go like, "Why did you add that so quick to your song list?" Because it was either now or never. Do you want it on your song
yeah
on the song list or not? Do you want me to play it for you? Please,
yeah
please let me to.
yeah yeah yeah. Uh, I get work done when I'm mad at my parents. Suddenly my room gets clean out of anger. Wow, the amount of times actually I did stuff out of anger, like doing the dishes.
The
Like I was
dishes,
like,
yes, doing the dishes is only out of anger. If I'm angry at my partner because my partner didn't do the dishes, I can do 2 weeks worth of dishes in 2 hours, guys. You don't understand. It's
yeah,
absolutely maddening, and my partner feels like running away from that room.
yeah. Is it? Because I also have been like when there's a pan that has a lot of like grease and crust. I think that's what you call it. I look at it, and then I realize that no one is going to wash it, and
Yes.
I was gonna like, you're gonna get so fucked with me, and then I just shove it with my sponge, like very aggressively.
Yes, yes, I get so angry that I forget that I have pain in my body. Anger has that thing. When you are angry, suddenly your body doesn't hurt as much. It's amazing. I love anger.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm angry all the time these days. Maybe it's just my body trying to make me not feel pain. Uh, oops. Might be
Yes.
that, actually. Wow, okay. Uh,
They
this
have a
was not
small
the
moment
conclusion.
of
I want to.
realization.
Yes, I'm having a small moment here, guys. Please, please. I'm gonna have a little breakdown here. Anyway, I was trying to say as well, or rather, I was trying to not interrupting you, but when you said that you get things done when you have like little piles of work instead of having a big pile of work, I tried that for
Hmm.
example with my room. Like I go like, okay, it's better if I clean a little bit than not clean it at all. But if I clean it a little bit, then I'll let it get to the same state it was before, and I'll just clean it a little bit again, and I'll never get it actually clean. And I realize that's a terrible idea.
What? Just cleaning.
A little
Uh
bit, because if I start a task, since I have autistic inertia, I will just do it until the end. If I don't stop, if I put in my head that I'm gonna do it top bottom, I might spend 6 hours cleaning, but I'll get the cleaning done. If I stop mid task, I will never pick it up
oh
until it's already a mess
yeah,
again.
same. Yeah, same. Because I would like that. I like that, because if I see something that if I made up my mind to do something that is house chores related, well, don't expect me until Monday, basically,
Hmm.
type of thing. Because I spent hours, but it's kind of sad because it's so rare to actually have the urge to just clean stuff.
I never had it. I never have. Unless I'm extremely angry or I have deadlines that I need to meet and I'm angry about them. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also struggle a lot with house chores. To be honest, it's a lot actually. It gets to the point that sometimes I sleep under the bed so I don't have to make the bed in the next morning.
I've done that.
It
Actually, I've done that. I was like,
I just
I
did
don't
that
feel like
today.
moving from here. And if I just sleep in here, I won't have to do the bed. Sleep on top of the bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you just feel cold all the time, but that's besides the point. I
Ah, no,
mean,
no,
you
I
just
actually don't. If I do that, I will make sure that I'm comfortable just because my body gets extremely cold during the night. And if I'm not careful with
mm.
that, I will wake up shivering and not being able to move and in a meltdown. And
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
very, very hard. I really start shivering uncontrollably, and because I'm sleepy, I'll keep on going in and out of sleep without being able to cover myself. It's a mess. I don't want to go through that.
I only make my bed when I have other people will also be sleeping in my bed. Uh,
Fair.
Motivation, external motivation. Yeah.
I actually like to have the bed done because I like the touch of the bed when the sheets are completely straight, you know? So
Mm.
I motivate myself through, but the feeling of the
Yeah.
sheets.
No, for me it's visually. If I see my bed messy, I just get like, this is so. Oh my god, this is
Yeah, I
agonizing
also
to
don't like
watch.
it. Yeah. Yeah, because I have plushies, and if I don't
Yeah.
make the bed, the plushies will stay on the floor. And I kind of don't like seeing my plushies on the floor. I get kind of sad about that.
Yeah.
Motivation.
Temper empathy to
God, I
plushes,
have
which is a
so
real
much
thing.
empathy towards plushies. My plushies are more important than most people. Get out of my fucking plushies. You try to touch my plushie of mine, and I'll go get a dagger.
It's established, guys. Don't touch the toad's plushes.
No.
Don't do that. Don't do
Toads
that.
or otherwise.
Well, actually, I remember yesterday because I was calling someone yesterday while I was doing the dishes because the dishes were too much. I was kind of like, I'm going to do parallel play with someone, with one of my besties, and she picked up and we just spent the whole call just doing our stuff, which is actually a very good technique. Actually, I missed that because I didn't remember that I used to do that when I would have very boring tasks. I remember doing that. It's also a very good technique actually, doing
Yeah,
parallel
that's
play.
called usually body doubling. It's a strategy to cope with
Oh
executive
no,
dysfunction.
yeah. Oh, no. I sorry, no, it's not parallel play. It was body doubling. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically,
sorry.
it's when you have someone taking care of your task to make sure that your task gets done. So basically, and this is a thing that sometimes happens even in servers of disabled people, in which you ask other people to like be on call with you and perform any task at the same time as you, or just monitoring your task, just to make sure that
Oh,
while you are on call with that person, you get that task done. So imagine that I need to do my dishes, which was the example that Himbi was giving. I ask for help. And I am on call with that person to make sure that while I am on call, because I have external pressure or at least external monitorization, that I am performing that task, and the other person can use that same time in order to complete a task of their own if they feel like doing
slight
that.
correction. Slight correction. The person was not aware, and sometimes body doubling doesn't
Yes,
require
yes,
motorization. That's the slight correction. And the
yes.
person was not aware, so I was like doing not even unconsciously. For me, it was not unconsciously. Like I was aware that I was doing that for that, but also because I wanted. to hang out with the person. But I knew I was doing body doubling, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But they don't are not aware of the concept. So yeah, that was fun. And that was a way of coping with dysfunction, and I used to do that a lot, and I realized that I was not doing it. So yeah, it's actually it's two rabbits one stone. Is that no, two birds one stone? Okay, like I'm socializing and I'm doing stuff.
Socializing. I need too many spoons for that.
Actually, for me, it depends. It really,
Same.
really depends. It really, really depends. If the person is very like dense and I feel like the interaction is very focused on the person. I just, of course,
Oh
no
yeah, no,
spoons
no,
will
no, no,
save
no,
me.
no, 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 no. Yeah.
Um,
But even if I like
and
the
I,
person, for example,
the,
today I went out because I needed to work. It was like I was supposed to have rehearsals during the morning and the afternoon, but the morning ones got cancelled. So I got to hang out with one of the peeps from work, and we had lunch together. And like he is a pretty nice person. Like he's pretty great, really, and we got to talk a bunch of stuff, and I didn't need to be constantly worrying about how I was talking and how I was behaving because he's pretty cool. And yet, I got so tired.
hmm. I mean, it also happens to me, but it's kind of rare. But I see because you still get tired. You still require some spoons, even if the person is nice. Valid. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Um, Yeah, there were times actually I got like very, very, very tired to the point of sleep after a hangout, but it was like so rare to be honest. And also because other stuff was going on. Uh, oh, and also call. I remember doing calls with someone and it was like draining and I could not say why it was draining. There was a lot of stuff. Like, of course,
Okay, yeah,
first
but
I
that
couldn't.
was just straight up abuse. That situation you're talking about. You were just being gaslit by the person 24/7. Just saying. Yes, I'm
How
calling
not to
Rimby
know?
out like hell.
No, I didn't. I didn't den- deny what you're saying. Like I'm not going to deny what you're saying. At the time, I'm just speaking from the perception at the time,
Yeah, at the time I didn't
and the
feel like that.
perception at the time was there was at least like, oh my goodness, I'm struggling because there's a time like I would have the the um, the Jesus fucking Christ. I could not understand the person because basically connection. I think our microphone. The microphone was probably terrible. I'm not really sure. And I was like showing all the time, like always asking. By the time there was a time that actually I stopped asking what the fuck they were saying because because it was like because the person was going non-stop, like just speaking non-stop, and I was already like lost. I don't know even the concept. I don't know what to ask because I'm not aware of even what they're saying because I didn't because I was too focused on the last thing that actually I understood for them when I was processing. And oh my goodness, you
In
cannot
your
even follow
defense,
my
that
thought.
person just started talking about random shit without giving you any context. So I don't think that's even on you for not listening, even considering audio processing and, spacing out because we are
At the
ADHD.
time,
Considering that, even considering all of that, like sometimes there was just really no context.
I feel so
So,
shitty because I blame. Actually, I put my blame myself like, oh, I have audio processing problems, which I don't have that much. Here's the thing: I don't have that much hearing
oh,
processing issues. No, I don't have that much,
lucky.
except in certain contexts. But in certain contexts, I will not that I do have, but it's not transversal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was thinking that I was literally like, oh my goodness, probably I have really, really, really hard time with calls. I think. But no, the microphone was shit. It was very the accent was terrible to be honest. The topic was like very HD, which I'm fine. Like I talk with a lot of HD people, but it was like too much. Like I was not even understanding. That was too much tangents. I was like already processing the last stage, and it was a nightmare.
A
It was a
tangent of a
nightmare.
tangent of a tangent.
and they were disabled, so they would understand. You would think that they would understand, like because I
You'd
was lost all
think,
the
but
time.
just because someone is disabled doesn't mean that one, they know themselves, two, they recognize traits of themselves in others, and
Yeah,
three, actually act according to the things they know, in case they do know the first two. It's a lot of layers. You would think, but it doesn't always translate like that.
yeah, they can be ableist to other people as well,
Yeah.
and expect to act as. Because that's the thing, they have a very like, oh, but you are so like you're so admirable, why you disappoint me? I cannot believe that you're actually a flawed human being. I mean, this is whole time. I was giving an example, but this time it got personal, and we should exhaust the topic. I think.
That's okay. Listen, to, to just agree a little bit with you, I do think that some of the worst examples of ableist thinking I've got in my life came from disabled people. But some of the most understanding people that I found were also disabled. So I feel like
Yeah,
when you are
there's those
disabled,
extremes.
you can have two kinds of mindsets. One, you actually understand your position and understand how life is for you and understand that life for others is also hard and all of that and start being a little bit more empathetic. Or you suppress all of that, put the blame in yourself, try your best, and surpass everything that happened in your life. And because you need a way to justify that you did that, you will blame everyone that doesn't surpass their struggles because they should be better than what they are. And if they see someone that is supposedly better than them and is not trying hard, they suck. You will have one of these two mindsets in my experience. You either become super empathetic or we will start blaming everyone else that doesn't try their best, and because they should have the means to do things and they are not doing those things, why are you not doing that thing? Because I can't, you piece of shit.
Yeah. I also encountered two extreme as well. I also encountered.
It's
Um,
very hard to find people that are kind of in the middle, because even when they are kind of in the
I think I
middle,
found.
it's more like some in some aspects they will be very understanding and in some others they will not be. Like even people that I feel like even if someone is not in one of these two extremes, when they react with one of these two extremes. But that's my perception. Like if you found some people that are in between, well, we found some people that are in between and I'm wrong. Simple as that.
Yeah, that they are understanding on aspects and not understanding others. Yes, I've found, and
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's not. There's nuances, For example, uh, like you can find like disabled people that are very understanding of like your sensory overload and stuff, but they will not be understandable of like why you're being so procrastinating stuff. There's have to be people like that. I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like that.
True.
I was now that I'm thinking. Um, where was I? Yes, because uh, and also what pissed me off at the time, and also many times in my life as of now, is when people just don't understand that I have limitations. And actually happened a few days ago. As much as I try to establish that I have limitations and I have boundaries, and they don't understand or they don't respect them, especially if it's coming from disabled people, I mean, I feel hopeless in some way, you know. It's not like, oh yeah, but you procrastinate, but you have to develop techniques. There's techniques and strategies to reduce that, and it's like, no, it's a limitation. I can improve it a little bit, but
Yes, putting more alarms is not gonna work. No matter how many times I put it on my calendar, it's not gonna get done like that. Like before I
yeah.
started Twitch, I tried to have a more regular violin practice schedule, but because I didn't have violin classes, I didn't have weekly goals in things that I should bring to class. So I was always like, well, I can just practice some other time. I'm sleepy and I'm in pain and I kind of just don't feel like I can right now, so I just won't. Was a terrible
Hmm.
idea, and then I got busy and then work came and then I got sick, and everything happened at once, and I stopped playing the violin because of that. I didn't have weekly goals anymore, and I put on my schedule. I defined what time I should use to practice the violin, and it worked for 2 months, which is already pretty decent. And then it stopped working, and no matter what I did, could not bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I cannot establish goals to save my life, basically, as well.
Yeah.
No, no, I can't. I really, really tried. Even I tried to do a schedule a few weeks ago, and of course, I wasn't. I'm not doing the schedule for Christ's sake. It was impossible.
Yeah.
Uh, and as there's trying. There's a try. I was doing the schedule, and I did, but I could not do it for some goddamn reason. And goals for me are kind of a myth.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fucking exist in my life, and that's why my life is a little uncertain sometimes. Because that's the thing. Because if I start my day, what would I think? Like I have to do this and this and this. No, I just like I have a very vague idea of what I should do. Like I have to do this, but I don't know which much of this I should be doing. But I should be doing this, and actually I do this. But it's not like I have a quantity of things that I have to do. It's more like I have to do this blob. This like it's a block that I should be doing stuff, but not I cannot define how many stuff I'm going to be doing. That's pretty much it. But it like yes, it's kind of a goal, but it's a very vague goal. And
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't work very well for my ADHD, but I could not help myself to actually create a more tangible goal for some reason. And for so many people, this is very weird, because it just have a block when you do the stuff that is related to the work that you should be doing. Yes, that's how I function. Sorry,
Yeah. For some
literally.
people, a thing that kind of works to cope with some things is when you have tasks that you need to do is plan your day on the day before at night. Like basically think about it and have a structure of your day in the next day and start doing things in the morning. If you don't get things done in the morning, you will not do anything during the entire day. This is the thing that works for some people. For me personally, a lot of times it does.
Um,
But you do need to wake up in the morning because if you wake up and it's like, at least for people that do have a somewhat kind of a sleeping schedule. Because if you wake up like and it's like, it's already kind of late. I mean, I'm just gonna probably just have lunch and then do something and then dinner and then it's already time to sleep. But then you stay
oh,
awake until 3 a.m. because you didn't feel like sleeping because you woke up late. Then it's probably not
I
gonna
have an
work.
objection to that. I have an objection to that because it's a thing.
Like I said, for some people.
Yes, yes. I'm. It's a kind of objection, but I know that you insert an exception to your to the method that you're describing. Um. Yes. Yes. There were times that actually I wake up too late. I was kind of like, I don't feel like doing this stuff. It's already lost too many hours. But then it also has to do with the fact that if I start the morning and then I realized like I had to do this until 5 p.m. Of course, I'm not going to have the motivation to do until 5 p.m. or at least. So I start to think like,
Mm,
and also because I had to do at the time when I was doing, because I'm thinking when I was doing the project, like, because I would do stuff, some things in the morning, and I would start in the library of my school.
mm-hmm.
Well,
Oh yeah,
but
that's another
but
thing
over
that
time,
helps. Is getting
yeah,
out of a place.
of your place,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But over time, I become fatigued, and I could not just wake myself up and just think like, "Oh no, I had to do train trips," and it's
Mm-hmm.
so slow that train because there's like work in
Yeah, I
on
feel you.
the on the yeah on the line, so it's very slow. And then I had to take a subway, and I had to walk whatever like 500 meters, I don't know, to the library. And then I had to
Oh,
do
that's not too
this
far.
and this and this. And I mean, I don't know. But over fatigue, it was getting too much. It was
Mm-hmm.
like 500 meters feels like 1 kilometer
Sorry, it's just
sometimes.
because like the distance that you said sounded manageable for me to walk. So that was my reaction. It's like, oh, I feel like I could walk that distance. Wow, a distance that I can walk. That sounds unlikely.
Ah,
Sorry,
okay.
that was my reaction.
Okay. Oh, so no, no, no. Okay, sorry. Thank you for clarifying. But over time, because I was doing this all day. I was like every day. I was getting tired, also because ADHD, because I cannot stick with one routine, with just one routine for too much time because I had to change. And but also I still I didn't even have the energy to change. When I realized that I have to change routine, I was already too fatigued to think in another routine to do
Mm-hmm.
it. So and then reached to the point I could not do anything because help I was doing with too much fatigue at the time, and then I
Yeah.
had to be creative and think like, okay, I had to think in one place that is near to my house, so I don't have to do this shenanigan of this nightmare of a trip of like to get this the stuff being done.
Yeah.
So I had to short the steps and the physical effort to start the work. So I did, and also I changed a little bit the schedule because listen, sometimes I will work in the morning, but sometimes I will just start working early afternoon, and it will be fine. And I will do until early evening, like uh, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the library will close at that hour. So yeah, I had to. This is the thing. I had to be flexible with myself, and that's the thing that as Toad mentioned earlier, the work environment, the work like the companies and such, they don't allow that type of flexibility. I mean, some though, if you're doing remote work and such,
Mm-hmm.
but most jobs they don't have this
Yeah.
flexibility in
But at
schedule,
the
which
same
I would
time,
miss. Yeah.
I feel like changing the place where you do your work and the place where you rest can really help. This can be something as easy as a specific place in your house that you dedicate for work purposes, as opposed to your
Mm.
room or a part of your room that you don't use. So like usually having the same place that you use for example, gaming and working on your computer can be a little bit disruptive for some people. For me, it's usually not a problem, but for some people, I know it is. A thing that really helped me during college, and another reason why I was practicing more, was because I literally got to college every day at 8:30, and most of the time I would only have classes at around 11, sometimes a little bit earlier, but even if it was at 9,
Oh,
I
lucky.
would I would get like half an hour because people would not get to college that early, and there would always be empty rooms for me to practice the violin. And I would
Yeah,
always
that's good
take
stuff. Yeah.
like between half an hour and 1 hour and a half per day right in the beginning of the day to practice. So even if during the day I felt too tired and I didn't feel like practicing anymore, at least that time was guaranteed. And
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's good
that
practice.
was amazing. Like, it's not enough if you only practice an average of 1 hour per day. It's not enough. Um, but it already gave me a really good start. So having this routine of going out, because I already needed to go out for my classes, and having a place for me to practice, best thing ever. And if I could simulate that in other contexts, I would definitely practice a little bit more. Maybe not right now because I keep on sleeping 12 hours a day, but I really need to fix my sleep schedule. And I don't know how, because if I sleep less than, let's say, 11 hours, minimum 10, I will be sleep deprived and I will be feeling like I'm falling asleep on the wheel. And I don't want to have a car accident. I don't want to have a car crash. That doesn't sound nice. Anyway, stop. I stopped venting.
No, it's okay because it's valuable for educational purposes. Uh, um, yeah, I used to do that as well, in a sense that sometimes there was a year that actually, well, because lockdown actually ruined my routine that I have at the time. But on before the semester before that, I used to do also study sessions on the library, like if I have the free time, and it would actually save me from doing the study sessions at home. Well, I was mostly it was like taking notes and such, like from classes, and just copy them and just doing the, the as like sum ups of the content. I think that's how I would say it. Anyway, that doesn't matter because at home it was like a disruptive environment for me. There was like a lot of distractions. That's why I'm so. opposed to work at home, at least for me, because there's like a lot of disruptive factors. There's a lot of noise. It's not because I'm sensitive to noise. It's more like I am more sensitive to what how the noise is, the context of that noise. Um, Also, like people can actually call me, because I had to do stuff and then I had to stop what I'm doing, and it's autistic inertia as well. Like I get mad because I was so focused in doing the task I was supposed to do, but I have to do another task because they were calling me to do it. It is very frustrating, I know. And also because the environment itself, at least in my room, it can get a little overwhelming. It can be anxiety inducing if I stay too long. Really, that happens. And I don't know why it happens more in spring, summer, but it does happen. Especially in sunny days. Probably because I'm wasting time being outside, being indoors, so I kind of feel guilty for not going outside. That's my best hypothesis to explain that.
Damn, I never feel guilty for not going outside because I'm
I
always so
feel
fucking
guilty.
dead. I'm always so
I
fucking dead that I can't. It's
Yeah, because I still have the mentality like I have to seize the day, and it's a very sunny day, and it's so rare to have sunny days. Like
I
maybe
guess
it's stupid,
parent pressure
and
for
I'm like,
that? Did you have your parents pressuring you for that? Because for me it was the opposite. So if I'm out a long time, I
mm,
actually feel guilty because I
yeah,
am not home and I'm not giving attention to my parents.
oof. No, actually, it was yeah, there was with external pressure to go outside because otherwise I could
Yeah.
not stay indoors and doing just staying out on a computer and
I guess
stuff.
I'm
So
lucky
yeah,
that I do like being indoors a lot.
I very ambivalent. Like yes, I like indoors, but it can be a little claustrophobic for me to stay always indoors. I had to go outside and seeing the sun and seeing the view and such. It's just staying indoors. Like you don't invite me to go to a cafe. To be honest, it's like it's very
Noisy.
it's not that. Yes, it is, but not just that. It's more like it's it's not dynamic. That's the best word that I can describe. I'm static. When I'm walking, if I'm going out with someone and I'm walking, I feel like, oh my goodness, there's like it's dynamic. The street it's changing. There's like movement, and I can also focus on the person what the person is saying. Like there has to be dynamic, and indoors is not very dynamic. It's very static, and I don't like being still in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not really related to this topic, isn't it? I should stay.
I mean, not sure because I am actually now wondering how because you are saying that you don't like being a lot of time in the same place, and I'm quite the opposite. I really like staying in the same place for a long time because it feels safe. Like if I like a place, I will stay in there for a long time. So, for example, the place that you met me the other day in the library at college,
Hmm.
if I didn't have anything to do, I would have stayed there for the entirety of the day. If I go there in the morning, I will only get out of that place because I can't eat inside the library. Unless it's some fruit. I sometimes eat fruit in there, but don't tell anyone. But if I have I need to have lunch,
I'm going
I
to
go
say eat.
outside. But then I go back right inside and I just stay there for the whole day because it's a very comfortable place. It has good lighting. It feels very nice. And I will just stay there. Maybe I will work. Maybe I'll listen to music. Maybe I'll just lie on the floor like if it was my house. Or maybe I'll just kind of start laying down on those sofas because they're not really very comfy, but they are nice. So so but I will stay there for the entirety of the day and feel very nice about it.
I can attest to that. It's a very nice place. Um,
But I wonder because in terms of my inertia and my executive dysfunction, I feel like it kind of tails into that because I have a hard time moving away from places and actually starting. For me, getting out of a place feels like starting a task. So if I need
hmm.
to go to a different place, for me, it's like initiating a whole task of moving myself from one place to the other, and I need
Oh, I'm
planning, and
the
there's a
opposite.
goal.
I'm so opposite because I need that change of task. I need because I can get bored with just doing just one task, just one task. I cannot just. That's why. That's why I'm very opposite to you. I had to like,
Yes,
if I get bored with one task, I'm just doing this fucking thing and I'm tired. Okay, okay, Ruby, listen what you're going to do. You're going to take a bus and you're going to go to a different place so you can do this thing or another thing that you need to do, right? Yay! I need this. I need this so I get anxious. Literally, that's what happens if I keep doing the thing for too long and the environment doesn't change and I'm still there. It's sometimes it's organizing, except if I'm in hyper focus mode, because that I don't need change of environment. I'm too focused on that task. I cannot really move.
exactly. But even if you're not hyperfixated, imagine that you are in the middle of a task and that task takes you like, let's say, 4 hours, which is a big task, but I think it's still doable. Will you move in between that task if you are not hyper focusing? Because I think I feel like I need to still
Yeah,
finish the task in order to
yeah,
first
I will.
move. You will
Right.
move mid task and then continue it.
It's kind of a risk, to be honest. It's like 50-50.
What an absolute mad lad! Is that a thing that people can do?
Sometimes I would. That's the thing. That's probably because I'm going to do a break, literally. So, of course, I'm not going to. If you mean doing a break means doing another task, which is like going to upstairs and taking some coffee or something, you consider it a new task?
I spaced out because I was agreeing with Jazz Cat. Jazz Cat is on my side, and I completely spaced out of what you were saying. I'm so sorry.
You basically you're soulmates at this point because you are
No, we
literally
are
just
literally the same dude. We've established
yeah.
that. We are not soulmates. We are the same dude. We started by being soulmates, or we thought about that, but then we realized that was a little bit too off because we are literally the same person.
You're the same person. Okay, I'm talking to Just Cat right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Jazz Cat.
The impression of him is very convincing. Let me tell you.
It really
Where's
isn't.
the Aussie accent? Actually,
I don't
where's the
think
Aussie accent?
I don't think I can make a Jazz Cat impression, so I just won't even try because I will fail miserably, and
Now
I'm not
you
ready. I'm not ready for that. Please, no.
you cannot also play the bossa nova, I guess.
I cannot.
Yeah, you cannot. Even I mean, with the violin will be very difficult, but I don't know. I'm
I
guessing.
mean, I can place probably some Garota de Ipanema if I try hard enough. Come on. On the violin, I think I could. Anyway, you were asking me, sorry.
What I was asking. Oh, okay. If I consider going upstairs and taking a beverage, like a coffee or something, you consider the task. Like for doing this for like 10 or 15 minutes, like a break. You
Depends.
consider it a task.
Most of the times I kinda do, unless it's like if I'm melting down during the task, I might force myself to stop and go
Hmm.
do that and then
Hmm.
come back with a comfort thing. So like imagine that I'm gonna go get a tea. There is something that gives me a lot of comfort because of the temperature and the taste and the texture and all of that. I might force myself to take a break in order to go get something that is comforting and go back to the task. But a lot of times I will feel the need to still finish the task or at least finish some steps of that task in order to interrupt it and then go do something else, which is that, and then come back.
Hmm. Actually, I'm remembering because I feel the same way as you. Like you cannot stop me halfway when I'm reading. That's the thing I cannot really stop
Oh
like
my god,
halfway.
yes, that was the worst when my parents were like, time for dinner, and I'm like, I'm literally in the middle of a chapter. Oh my god,
Ah.
the book can wait, and I was like, no, it cannot.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. Because I'm like, listen, I'm still
You
reading
just
this.
need to
Let me
put a
end the chapter.
bookmarker.
No, but I would lose the flow, the intensity,
Exactly,
the
the
intensity.
vibes.
I'm saying is I don't read as much fiction as I used to. I'm mostly already right now
Ah, no, I'm a
reading
fiction
non-fiction.
person. I'm a sci-fi
Actually, I
fantasy
got
kind of
burnout from
person.
fiction. I cannot read. I'm really kidding. I cannot read fiction because I overdid it like a few years ago. Actually, that happened. So I only read non-fiction now. Really, that's the thing that has been happening.
I
But
want
I
my
still,
books back then. I lent you some fiction. If you're not gonna read it, I'm gonna get them back. I like those books too much.
okay.
You either read them or you give
To
them
be
back to me.
honest, Okay, I will give you back to you.
Oh,
I think.
okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's the because I literally tried, and it's my brain just really established that I cannot read fiction. That's the thing that happened, and I realized that a few months ago. And yes, it's kind of sad because because I still write fiction, and I need, to read fiction to write fiction, and I don't have that as much because my brain cannot handle it. So yeah, it's been tough, but I've been trying to cope in different ways about that. But yeah, I will probably no, I will have uh to bring you back to books.
That's fine.
Eh, it happens. Okay, things happen. Actually, I'm 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 now focusing more on the working memory. I'm because I think it's not talked enough about the working memory. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's if actually someone defining what it is, because I listen, I know what it means, but I cannot really define right now. But unless I can send here an article to explain better, because this is happening. This is happening. I'm going to send an
Okay,
article.
this is happening. Rimbi is gonna search for an article so that they can explain their concepts. We're doing this, guys. We're making this happen.
Yeah, but okay.
Please
I
get my
need to.
Homestuck reference, Rimbi. Rimbi. I could,
What's the Homestuck reference?
we're making this happen. Rimbi.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sweet bro and Hella Jeff kind of deal going on there, please. I haven't shown you the memes for you
I
to
don't know
ignore my memes. I already
I don't know
told
the
you.
reference.
This is what
I
the
don't know the
reference.
reference. I this is
Captain.
at this point you're just watching two peeps losing it, really
I
losing their
mean,
goddamn minds.
I lost it like 3 hours ago. I was literally kind of sleeping in the living room with a fucking huge ass headache and cursing all the lights around me. Why do I even have my lights turned on? Oh, because the contrast with my screen will make it too hard for me to handle. Gotcha. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm also fine, but I will
I
not.
should probably get shades. I'm
Okay,
gonna get
so
shades.
what? But you already like spilled shades on like early on. You already spilled shades. Please get the joke.
I have
Please get the
shades.
joke.
No, I
He's
will
not
not
going.
get the joke. I have shades and I'm a cool as fuck guy.
This is Dave, the coolest peep here in the Disabled
Yes.
Peeps.
Hell yes. Let's go. Anyway.
Okay, here it is. Here's the motherfucking thing. Ah. So basically, what it means is, whatever. I can get this reference. Refers to a brain system that provides temporary storage and manipulation of information. I know that is for complex tasks like that is related to cognition, for example, language comprehension, learning, reasoning. I mean, there's more, but
You are either
regardless,
mumbling a little bit more now that you're reading, or I can't take academic talk because I spaced out the
I will
moment.
explain to you.
Thank you.
God damn it!
I spaced out
Basically, basically, yes. Oh no! I'm letting Toad pouty here. Never mind. I don't
Oh,
care. So
the
so
fuck, dude.
working memory means I'm being so sassy right now. It means like you. It's basically the center in which you use to process information. For example, tasks that they gave to you, directions for a place, for example, like stuff that you're learning. This is working in memory. Like you are
Okay,
processing,
yes.
systematizing
Okay, we're talking about
information
memory.
that is
Gotcha.
working memory specifically.
Yes, okay.
Please.
I heard you. I just didn't even know what the general topic was. Now I know. Jeez.
Sorry. I had to. I had to be light then because I'm being a little stubborn. No. I'm patient. Sorry. Patient. So basically, yeah, it's that. And then what happens to people that have excessive dysfunction? Um, it depends on the disability, of course, because excessive dysfunction can affect our working memory in different ways. In our when it comes to ADHD, it basically it impacts in a way that we plan and manage. We plan tasks, how we going to plan tasks, how we manage time, how um, how we manage the stuff that we have to do, and we insert in the time frames type of thing. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but that's pretty much it. There's a lot of stuff like
I don't
even
understand how that's related to the working memory.
it is like they give tasks to you,
Mm-hmm.
and the working memory does the process, like it
Mm-hmm.
stores that and it manipulates like how I'm going. Okay, I have
But I
this
can
and
do
this and
all
this
the
and this to do.
schedule. I can do all the planning. I don't have trouble when someone gives me a task. I don't have trouble understanding how I'm going to do the task, understanding when I should do the task, and all the steps to do the task. I just won't do it, which is very different. It has nothing to do with memory for me. I remember the task. I know exactly what I have to do. I just
No,
can't fucking do it. Your mic is doing something weird, or is
okay.
it me?
Huh?
I think your mic is doing something weird. Is Rembi's mic doing something weird, guys? It feels like it's doing a
I
kind
think
of
I'm
deal.
because
Oh,
I
it's not
yeah
doing that anymore. Thank you.
I because I was hunting in my hand so I could read better. But now I don't know how to explain this because I don't nominate this shit. Alright, uh,
No. Okay, you told me that it's because it's the memory that deals with the processing of the task, right?
yes,
And I told you that my memory deals in, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I understand, very well with the concept of a task. I just can't bring myself to start doing the task at all, which to me, a lot of times feels more
I think
connected
it
to
has.
autistic inertia in my particular case rather than anything else.
Okay, I'm seeing because I think it explains when people are just feel overwhelmed by the amount of tasks because they are um mm, how do I say, like they cannot process because it's like if you give them to because god damn it I think it has to do with that, you know, people feel overwhelmed by too much task. I think it has to do with working memory. You cannot process it because it's too much. Damn. Damn, it's that. Ah, do you see?
No, I'm wearing shades. Sorry, I had to make the joke. Yes, I think so.
Okay,
I guess it's
that
just
that
because
that,
I think that there are several
that, that
things that can be the root of executive dysfunction in a way.
yes, yes, pretty much. Yes,
And I guess just in
anxiety
my
is.
case, yeah, I guess just in my case, because listen, I do get the thing of like always also getting overwhelmed by the amount of tasks. Like it feels like such an enormous task that there is no beginning or ending to it. I also understand
That
that.
has to do with working memory, for Christ's
Okay.
sake.
Oh God, I am agreeing with you. Can I finish my goddamn sentence? I'm saying
Yeah,
I'm I understand that and I sometimes feel that, but that one is way less common to me than just not being able to start a task because, you know.
autistic inertia
Yeah,
or or fatigue or pain. Yeah,
or all of those. All of the above. Can I check the box that says all of the above?
option D. All the options above. Yeah, pretty much. For me, it's I think it is a mix of like feeling overwhelmed by the amount of tasks, so I don't start it, and also anxiety. pretty much. If I do have anxiety, uh, listen, I cannot do anything. I cannot do anything. Like, you don't expect me to do stuff when I'm anxious, please, because
Do not make me perform
I'm just
tasks.
yeah, because I'm going to be very focused on my anxiety. I will not because oh no, I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain all the time, and I cannot focus myself. So I will not do the task because well, my body just said no. Um, So yeah, and this is one factor. The second one is fatigue, which is very related to the first factor. Listen, I can wake up in the morning, and think to myself that I need to do this and this and this, and I just get tired just think of that, and then when I wake up, I just feel very, very weak
For me, it
and
doesn't.
very
I can't just
sleepy.
think in the morning. If I just think in the morning, then not gonna work. I need to think the previous day.
Yeah, but usually I think in the morning. That's my guess. And then I just feel very weak and sleepy, and sometimes I just fall asleep again because I just
True.
yeah.
You know the worst,
Um.
the worst thing ever can be when someone
Mm,
gets to my room and wakes
mm.
me to give me a
Oh no.
task. Someone wakes me up to tell me that I need to do something. I feel like murdering people. Why do people do this? My brain can process stuff. I can barely hear what people are telling me. I am doing so much effort to even audio process. And the information that I get once I am finally able to go through all that work to audio process is task. First thing in the morning, ruining my entire routine and all the things I had planned the day before. I hate it so much.
Because it just will disrupt your routine.
It
As well.
disrupts everything. It's not just my routine, it
Disrupts
disrupts
everything.
everything.
Uh,
My god, just get the fuck out of my room. Who told you that you could
and
even get in? My
so
goodness.
imagine,
Ah,
imagine waking someone wakes you up because you need to drive to pick up a person, or just leave the person on the place. It happened a lot of times to me, and it was very difficult to cope. Because listen, if someone wakes me up, it's horrible. It's horrendous. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it doesn't get to the reaction that you feel. Like it doesn't get to your emotional state. But I just feel like very angry, but doesn't get to that level. But if you mean driving, I mean it's why even? Why people ask me that? I'm literally half asleep, but I did that several times, and damn, people just like to break my boundaries very often. Eh,
basically,
yeah,
people should be
because like
forbidden from giving me classes. Like, why? Why would anyone give me a
I mean,
task?
hmm?
Why would anyone give me a task?
After waking up and giving a task, I'm not understanding. Sorry.
Why would anyone give me a task? Should be forbidden. Like, why would anyone do that?
Okay, you're posting. Well, capitalism.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know if you were aware of this, but capitalism. You had to work even if you feel like shit, even if you feel that even if your parents died, you had to work like 3 days after probably. I don't know what is the mourning period.
I actually don't
Uh,
know. I don't intend to find out that soon, please.
yeah, it's more than 3 days. I'm pretty sure, but
Mm.
regardless, it's not the point. Uh, yes, actually, I did. This is actually. I felt guilty, but when my grandfather died, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We need a trigger warning for this.
A trigger
Sorry,
warning,
trigger
death.
warning for relative death. For relative death. When my grandfather died, we went to his place. Not his place, but like where he lived, the region that he lived, and I had actually a deadline on that day, on the day after he died, and so I was literally mourning, supposedly mourning and doing. the task because I was afraid of failing the deadline. And honestly, it's so bad. You shouldn't do that. Like the professor could actually give me a lenience because, well, I didn't. It's not my blame that my grandfather died the day before,
Right.
but I feel like it was not giving that option because I feel like I had to do this period, even though some lenience probably was allowed, but I didn't think of it because you're so pressured to work even if you're not well. At the time, I was not like just a very very weird way of mourning. But
Oh, isn't
regardless,
always like that with grandparents.
yeah, just kind of like that. You know, I was not very close to my grandfather. Uh,
Yeah, I feel you
so
there.
so yeah, but still, I mean, yeah. Because the thing, actually, I felt worse mourning for um a father of a friend because
Mm-hmm.
it was very kind to us. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt really bad. Uh,
Understandable.
so and then when it comes to my people that were supposed to be family, it felt like oh, it's like it's not. I mean, shocking, but it's not like the the despair to just feel like the person is not there anymore. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's you actually it makes me think if what do you consider as family, even if family is a as a traditional concept, it makes
Oh,
sense
you're asking the wrong
for
person.
me.
I'm a platonic. I don't know shit about relationships.
No, no, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
you
Okay,
think
okay,
me being a
makes sense,
platonic
makes
doesn't
sense, makes
affect my
sense.
family relationships? Ha, so funny.
I was not aware. Please enlighten me, please. I'm sorry, I was not aware.
Okay, I can feel three kinds of affection. One, romantic. Two, and this does not affection that does not include physical contact. One, romantic. Two, I want people to take care of me. Three, I want to take care of people. That's it. There's no more kinds of attractions. Closed. That's it. There's no
To connect.
peers. There's no, so it's either I the only kind of a family connection that I can feel is I either protect or people please protect me or both. That's the closest I can get to feeling like family kind of deal.
Hmm, interesting. I don't know. I've been questioning if I feel photonic. I've been questioning that. Um,
I mean,
cause
but
hell,
even
I
if you are, it
sometimes.
doesn't mean that you cannot feel other kinds of attractions. Just in my case, I can only feel these three that do not include physical. Um, I mean, I guess I'll also feel, in theory, some aesthetical attraction. That is a thing that does happen, but usually it's related to sensual attraction, which does include physical stuff. It's kind of weird.
I mean, I could look. I mean, I cannot define how attraction actually not that much.
I've
Um,
made grids to understand this. I literally have a grid with the kinds of attraction and mixtures of them that I can feel or not. Was an interesting thought experiment.
ex-
I
I
have
didn't
it
do that.
here somewhere.
Oh, but they have it. They
Uh,
have it here. The
somewhere.
nerd just decided to actually put on the
A grid with my kind with the kinds of attraction that I feel. Let me be fucking autistic, can I? Sheesh.
Yes,
Person can't be
yes. That.
autistic in
I
peace
mean, if
without
it helps you
judgment. God damn
understand,
it.
and it's cute, I will not lie.
Where is it? Where did I leave my grid? I had a grid right here. Oh.
You're being so distant and cute, but don't tell them anything.
Shush. Keep
You
talking.
have the
I'm looking
time.
for grids. No, I'm looking for the
Okay.
grid. You talk.
Because I cannot define the attractions that I feel. Like I know that I feel some sense of sensual attraction. Like I pretty much feel very many, pretty much sensual attraction. I can feel romantic attraction. Those are for sure. But the other ones, not really sure. Like
What a
not
fucking
really
mood.
sure. I don't know how. Because I don't have that much friendships, so that's why it's kind of hard to actually put on like in groups what I feel to this person, what I feel to this person. Sometimes it feels like every person that I relate to is a kind of a different relationship
Mm-hmm.
that I think that attractions do not explain.
I mean, yeah,
That's
for
pretty much
sure,
it.
for sure. That part for sure. Where do I have my grids?
Okay, so this is a tangent to how I explain attractions. Um, so I think we both explained the factors that are going on with our executive dysfunction, and nearly we actually did a small framework to societal issues and our
Found it.
executive dysfunction. So why we don't touch that again? Um, um, I got lost. Because I think it should be remarked that a lot of executive dysfunction is important to be a source of debate in terms of the failures of capitalism. And Toad is panicking, and I'm talking
No,
about more
no,
shit.
no, 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 no.
Just kidding.
I'm just happy that I found my grid.
This is all. They found their grid.
Yay!
People just say hooray, hip 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 hooray, hip 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 yay,
Poetry is
you.
making
Bam, boom.
fun of Toad. Toad did nothing wrong. Toad was just being a happy autistic person looking for a grid they did of their uh, kinds of attractions that they feel. It's a very, very nice grid, I swear. I even painted it with my markers. Okay? It's very important.
I cannot even roast you. You're just being so. I did this quiz with so much care, and you're making fun of me. You're a bully.
Yes, yes, actually, though. Thank you, peeps in chat. See, they got happy that I found my grid. And that's what matters.
I mean, I was also happy for Christ's sake.
I
Uh,
don't know.
sometimes I hide myself behind these layers of irony that people cannot
I,
understand if I'm
I
being
even
genuine or not.
I even did a little drawing for each kind of combination of attractions. Each of them has a
Ah.
symbol with a different color, guys. I'm gonna send this to Discord so that you guys can see.
Oh, okay. I'll let the guy be happy. I mean, if it gives him happiness in such
I assumed
a
in this
sorrowful
grid
day,
I
yeah.
assumed in this grid that romantic attraction is always involved, but that's because I was specifically doing for combinations of romantic attractions that I feel. But this works for literally anything in my case.
Okay.
Anyway,
Um.
you were talking about executive dysfunction and society things. Yes, what about it?
I was because we kind of lived a little in the middle of the initial discussion, and I was if you were up to it to
Mm-hmm.
continue progress the discussion, um, yeah, that was the thing that was proposing here while
Yeah,
we
I
were
am
looking
up
for the
to
grid.
it. What about it? You
What
meant.
about
Yeah, go on. I was very focused in my grid. I need a recap.
okay? So in your discussion, we established that um, um, exit function and capitalism don't work because it puts the blame on the individual. We are seen as lazy. Yeah, we established that already. So I was thinking in how we should approach this, like to um, it has to be discussed. I mean, because this is a problem with people, autistic people that are in a work environment. Um, they keep like that's the thing because they can be laid off or fired from because they are dealing with a lot of dysfunction because the bosses don't understand. I mean, I was not expecting empathy from bosses, but what I'm
Yeah, you
saying
can get
is
fired for example, getting nonverbal. That is a thing
yes,
that happens.
yes,
It's not
yeah.
even executive dysfunction, but that's a thing that happens.
Why I feel like this is a call out? I'm not even.
I am not. No, I'm not calling you out. I'm literally talking about something that happened.
No, 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 not you, not you, not. I know it was not me. I know it was not from me. I feel like it was very specific,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm aware now. But yeah, basically, yes, you said non-verbal. Basically, I'm saying we're specifically talking about this dysfunction,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to broad the discussion then. I think because of people can actually, autistic people and neurodivergent people in general, not disabled people in general, for Christ's sake, can get the fired and laid off from jobs because of their disabilities. I
Yes.
I personally felt this as well. Not fired, not laid off, but it was a different situation. But it was very similar in a way. So I sympathize with those
I
struggles.
mean,
I
I am
sympathize with.
just scared people gonna fire me because they find out that I'm polyamorous and I work with kids, so I'm constantly being scared of being fired. It's like, oh, you're trans? Oh, but that's not a good image for the school or to the kids. It might confuse them. I'm always scared. It doesn't even need to be about my disability, but in what concerns my disabilities, plural, actually. Um, I generally feel, or I felt scared last year, and I'm actually still to find out that if I wasn't fired from one of the schools. Uh, Whoops. Because I had all my health issues, and I stopped being able to work, so I was forced into finding someone to substitute me during those months, which I did, or the school did for me. I don't remember. A person was found. Um, and now that I can work again, I was like, I can work whenever you want me to go back, and person hasn't said anything, so I might have been fired, question mark, I don't know. um but it's a thing that has been tormenting for a while because I don't know, considering how my health is, when I will not have to just spend a week without working or 2 days or no matter how much time it is, and how often it will be. And in one of the schools I actually missed 1/3 of the classes during last year because Saturday afternoon was an absolute hell. So I was working around of 30 hours of just classes, plus all the work that I had to do outside the classes and meetings and evaluations and all of that. And I was driving 10 hours per week. And I was still trying to do things on the side, like, you know, trying to sometimes play the violin and stuff like that. And I was at some point trying to make Twitch work already. Um, and so basically what happened was I was genuinely scared that they were just going to say basically what they told you, Jascat. You are too unreliable. We cannot count on you. You are basically more time at home than what you are working, because I would get to Saturday afternoon and sometimes I would still go work the morning, but I would get to the afternoon
Hmm.
and I would be just in so much pain that I couldn't even think about even being in the car, because at the time my partner wasn't working, so they could take me to work instead of me being, of me being the one driving. But even then I sometimes couldn't even think of entering the car and sitting down there for a 45-minute trip to go to work. I couldn't even think about that. And sometimes I even did that trip. I got to the school and either I would give like 3 classes and give up because I was in pain and dying, or I wouldn't even start the day and would just say, I need to go home. I can't anymore. And I was genuinely very scared because I was trying so hard to give those classes and to make sure that I was doing everything that I could. And yet I would force myself to go to work and I couldn't work. I couldn't. And a lot of times I would even get to the end of the day and I would just go nonverbal and couldn't talk and would just go the way back, basically crying half of the time or in a meltdown. Kudos to my partner for dealing with that, because sure was not easy. And yeah, I was literally trying to do that because I didn't want to get fired, because I was in a not so easy financial situation, me and that partner of mine as well. And I felt like I needed to be the one person bringing money home. And they didn't have a job. There's rent to pay, there's food, there's electricity and water and gas, I'm not sure it's called gas, whatever, the thing that you use to heat up food and water. Um, and there was no way I could just turn to the person in charge and say, oh, I am in too much pain literally every week and I can't go to work sometimes. You can't say that. No one's going to understand. And a lot of times I would miss some other school days in other schools. So those were not as bad, but I did end up having two more classes to give apart from the ones that I had already to give because of my surgery. So like I stopped working in the beginning of June, but I still had classes that I should have given before that and I couldn't. And some of those I already gave this school year because I reduced my schedule and I was rested, and so I could give a bunch of them even before the school year started, which took a toll on me, but well, it's done. Um, but yeah, how do I communicate that I have pain and can't go to work? People cannot really understand this most of the time, and I'm not even going into things like sometimes I can't talk, which would happen. I've been nonverbal during classes and trying and still having to give a class, mostly by gesturing at the kids and correcting their posture on the violin by touching their hands and correcting the posture and just giving them a signal, like pointing at the score and giving them a signal to start. And because they're kids, they usually don't really question this much. They just think that, okay, the grown up is being a little bit weird, but I understand what I have to do and they do it. But sometimes it gets scary that people might get weird about it and, you know, fire me once again. Because usually I'm extremely competent. I'm an extremely competent person. I am a very good teacher, I think. I mean, I think results speak for themselves. And you know what concerns that? Kids are happy. Kids always come back to me to have classes, or at least most of them, and they evolve well. I think I don't need anything else. But the working environment isn't always like that. So yeah,
Um,
that was a
well, I
big
have
rant. I'm sorry.
no, no. Actually, I appreciate it, and I think everyone will appreciate it. Oh, I don't know what to react to that. To be honest, unless I, well, unless I, well, I have to share my vote of sympathy because I literally, um,
I mean, you asked me about being scared of being fired. Hey, there you have my darkest secrets.
I also feel like that. I've been dealing with a very similar doom, but well, I
I get it.
technically don't have a job.
In a way, I sometimes get a little bit insensitive towards you, and I know I do, because sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm so scared when I enter this field how things are going to be." And sometimes I can't help but feel like, dear, I don't want to hear about it. If you only knew how much I've been dealing
No, no,
with,
no, 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 no,
you
no.
know,
Yes, I
I,
do
I get this
understand.
kind of bitchy
I did I did that
attitude.
rant beforehand. I know what you meant. I did that rant and I was really regretting that because I feel like okay, you don't want to talk about this, but I cannot delete the message
No,
because
no,
you're
no,
gonna
no, no,
see
no,
the
no.
notification. So I was kind of like,
That's okay.
yeah, it was like,
Oh, I'm saying I don't mean any particular time that this happened. I mean overall, I can't help but sometimes when people come to me with these kinds of things of like, "Oh,
no, I
I
do
am going
understand.
through this." And I'm like, "Okay, but I'm
I
going
do
through so much worse."
understand.
And of course, like I cannot just because I have it worse, it doesn't mean that it isn't valid that people feel bad. And of
No, I
course,
do.
but at the same time,
No, I do
I don't have
understand.
the spoons to give sympathy. I don't have the ability to
No,
because I
no,
get to
I
a point
do.
in which I'm so dismissed that I'm like, I literally cannot deal with anymore.
No, it's okay because oof, I do understand because here's the thing. I also deal with that. Like, there's someone in my life that actually still messages very complicated stuff about. Well, I'll not say it, but and I cannot deal with that. And sometimes I really ghost the person,
Mm-hmm.
and because I cannot really deal with that, you're literally touching something that is very sensitive to me. And so I do understand your reaction. So I'm going to develop a little better, like, I mean, if you can take it
Mm.
what I've the doom that I've been going on for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Just
go
I
ahead.
already know pretty much the dooms, but probably not all peeps know. So basically, I'm not still in the job market in the opposite of Toad. Well, I could actually, well, and actually I feel guilty for not being still, well, because I'm already 22, and with prospects of moving out sometime soon, I don't have the funds. So, but then I was kind of like, oh yeah, so it gives me like a kind of motivation to find it, but at the same time, because I'm doing an internship, and well, I just feel dismotivated to find job because it's 8 hours of that I get into shutdowns that I just feel like I feel like I can commit medical error at some point because I'm just too unfocused. My sight is blurry. I don't know if I can go deaf, but it feels like my hearing is reduced. Um, Shutdown is very. I've basically become like in a state of catatonia, and it's very scary. Um, and people don't understand that it's who is going to be the boss that is going to understand that I can go to shutdowns, that I'm going to be having even a harder time to speak than usual. And it happens when if I'm doing some stuff and the lights are too bright. For example, if the environment is very is a nightmare in terms of lighting. It's like you ask me to have a shutdown literally.
Fluorescent lights every fucking where I work. Ugh.
Yeah, and
They
the
cause
medical office.
migraines to a
Yeah,
very large part of the autistic community. And at least in hospitals, as far as I'm concerned,
yeah, there's a lot.
they're everywhere. And in classrooms, same. It's insane. Autistic people can have headaches that last for an entire week over these lights. And they're
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, especially in hospitals because the walls are white and so it reflects the light and
Yes.
it's agonizing. And then there's a lot of people. There are actually a lot of people, also faces, also voices, although everything just becomes too much. And I had to perform like oh no, but I had to perform like a neurotypical. So I had to speak clearly and loud enough to people to understand, even though my you can I can feel like my jaw is very clenched, it's very tense. And I was like, god damn it, I had to really make a big effort to actually speak. And it feels really like um it's intense masking actually,
Yeah.
like the most intense masking that I can do. I had to do it. And sometimes I cannot even interact with other people after the sessions because listen, you cannot even expect social interaction from me because I literally had to put all my energy to the patients I'm going to do the exams. Here's the
Yeah.
thing, I don't do that much exams to be honest, like not because it's kind of like dead sometimes because many people miss the appointments. But I'm thinking if I did this like 8 hours straight I would get burnout so quickly. And this is one thing. And and it is a thing because there's my supervisor actually, she works in several places, so she like so yesterday she was like, okay, I was like, are you going to I asked her, are you going to work in another place after, because she was there for like 9 hours I think. Yes, I'm going to work on another place that is in a different district, and it's until like 8 9 p.m. Yeah, she was working in that hospital when I am since like 8 a.m. and she's going to finish her workday at 9 p.m. Yeah, that's 12 hours. Yeah, and I just
It's
had
an
a
insane amount of hours.
it is just a and I had a breakdown right there like it's because I think I've been aware like we are a very overworked culture, but I just like I just left there like hopeless, I guess. Um, I cannot do this, because she has to earn, they do this to earn a decent living. And man, I cannot work more than 6 hours.
Yeah.
And this is the second part to my intervention. is nothing is being done both in the disabled community, uh, the new specific one that we are both in, or at least told still was, and also the the state. Nothing is being done. We should be inserted in the fight for workers' rights, like fighting against precarious conditions. You know, if we're not still thinking about abolishing work, we still have to think in improving the situation. I mean, the conditions, and both in
Exactly.
both
I am
situation.
more concerned with improving work conditions than, giving the extra step, because I feel that the
Yeah, we have to
realistic
be slow.
thing
Yeah, we have to be
to
gradual.
do right now, and the thing that will actually improve everyone's lives right now in this moment, is
Yeah,
giving people working conditions.
not just working condition. It's literally like everything. You can change your schedule. You can,
That's working
whatever that's.
conditions. For me,
Yeah,
that's working conditions.
yeah. I mean, okay, that's clear. And that's my, like, the state. Of course, there's no debate about us in the parliament. When it comes to, you know by parties, no one discusses this. I've
No,
been paying attentive to that as well. And you've been thinking that, okay, but we have hopes in our autistic community. I mean, right? um, no, we don't have.
not that
And
much. Yeah, because
we
is autism even recognized as an actual disability here in Portugal? I
no,
actually don't
no,
know.
it isn't. It
It
isn't.
isn't,
It
right?
isn't. It doesn't have the legal recognition as a disability. No.
Yeah, that's what I
You
thought.
Jessica said earlier that you receive social benefits, I think, for having disability, if I'm correct, please.
Yeah, but it's
But
ADHD and fibromyalgia.
we don't have that.
For ADHD and
Fibromyalgia?
fibromyalgia? Neither of
No, we
those?
could. We okay. Consider disability. No, ADHD is not a disability here. Fibromyalgia is not even recognized as actually a medical condition that much.
Well, guys, I am gonna have
Sorry to doom
something
you.
telling me that I need other kinds of accommodations at work when I'm dead.
Basically. But
Good to
see,
know.
right? Yeah, no,
I was
autism
still
is not.
being kept in the dark. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't go search for that information because I didn't want to be
Yeah, more doom.
stressed out. And yeah,
Yeah,
but that's the thing.
yeah.
I
Sorry.
know of people that have diagnoses with autism and ADHD, and they managed to get a disability card.
Here in
So
Portugal?
yes, so that gives me hope.
What? How? No, sorry. No,
With
there's no way.
there is a way with psychiatry. The psychiatrist
Uh,
made it
what
happen.
person?
I don't know what happened because it's personal information. I didn't
No,
ask
because
the
you have to
person.
get the 60. Because here's the thing: if you need to
I know
get
it's
social benefit,
60%. Yeah, the
yeah, yeah,
person
yeah,
got the
yeah.
sixty
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
percent. The person got the
How?
60% disability,
You 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 have to
and
be very lucky with your psychiatrist then, because
yes, because the psychiatrist was very understanding of their socioeconomic situation, and that there was literally no a way that they needed the support, and and
hmm,
allowed in that case for it to
I'm
happen.
actually. Oh, actually,
So
I'm surprised that not because
I
of the psychiatrist. I'm surprised that the social security actually accept that, accept
same
like they consider the
same.
ADHD the 60%. Because
But even
usually like,
getting
oh,
that was
but you have
extremely
to be in a
expensive.
wheelchair.
That was actually incredibly
Uh,
expensive to even get that. Um,
yeah, because psychiatry and stuff like.
yeah.
Because
And
here's
I
the
don't know
thing.
the details. Like, I don't want to be saying stuff that
Okay, no,
is too inaccurate, or this
mm,
is literally all I know. And I, once again,
yeah,
I didn't ask.
yeah.
It doesn't concern me. It's very personal information.
Okay. Back to the actual tangent.
I'm gonna
So you would
cry, but
think, uh,
about
I don't know if you're
about
saying.
getting the support I need when I'm fucking dead. I'm fine. I'm fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. I'm fine.
I'm just, I don't know. I know that I've been known that to the person that does not give hopes, they just give doom. I know that
Oh, that's
that type of
fine.
person. I mean, yeah. Um, but I have to be realistic because I think. But then again, don't take this as 100% gospel because I might be wrong. But I think that autism, because it's been talked about in our community, autism, ADHD. is not are not recognized as disabilities. That's why there's a strong debate and strong motivation to actually start to killing ourselves as disabled. Well, with a different name, because actually we are so fucking important that we are called person with disabilities because we are so fan of the fucking personal first time language.
Oh, don't even remind me of that. I don't want to get
Yeah,
angry again.
no, no, no. Back to the actual tangent again. So there is no response, or at least like they say, like, oh, but there's companies that are going to be inclusive of autistic people. I mean, yes, tech fucking companies, it's companies that will accept autistic people to do what? I'm going to fucking tell you. Databases. That's it. Fucking, you know what? There's no support for autistic people that are teachers, health professionals, lawyers, hell, store workers, whatever, store clerks. Yes, that's
It's
the name. Store clerkers,
absolutely
people that work in
ridiculous.
nurseries. There's no fucking support to all people. People that work in factories, autistic people that work in factories, autistic people that work in call center.
I don't
There
have
is
a
no
working
fucking support.
contract. I don't have a working contract. I receive for each hour I teach. If there is a national holiday, I do not receive those hours. I receive by
Mm,
each hour I fucking teach. It's ridiculous.
yes, but
Ah,
kind of the point. But I was going more for the
yes, but since we are talking about working
the
conditions, this means because
yeah,
Heidi,
yeah.
put it this way, if I miss one day and I get medical justification for that, I still don't receive those hours. So even if my disability tells me that I had a justification to miss those days, if I had a working contract, even if the working environment was, um, supportive of disabled people, I would still receive those hours because, it was justified that I missed that day of work. If I miss a day of work, I do not receive the money.
They don't have a paid leave, a paid medical leave. Okay, that's the word that you,
No,
yeah.
I don't. That's why I was killing
Mm,
myself to go to work. It's like if I don't go to work, I'll get
yeah,
fired and I also won't
you
receive
don't
these
receive.
hours. These five beautiful hours, meaning 50 euros, or sometimes a little bit less depending on the
God
school,
damn,
are gone.
the
And
fortune.
that's a
Yeah,
lot of money at the end of the month.
and yeah, that's why I get so mad because, goodness, sometimes you also make me do. No, no, no. I'm just revenging. I'm just revenging myself. No, listen. Um, it's like because it's the thing. No, if the thing, if I actually get, for example, I'm giving myself an example because I tend to have if I go non-verbal, I mean, and that's the thing that happens, and I can actually be fired for that. That's scary, to be honest. There's a lot of fears, but this one is on them because I tend to be semi-verbal or non-verbal if I get overwhelmed, and I'm should be supposed to perform. There is no protection, like there's no like support if like some association to go like, no, this is unfair, they just fire me because of a trait of my disability. There is no support. There is no you can max you can get like validation, like, oh, sorry, it happened, like, yes, it happened, the same thing. I don't want that. I would at least better. I mean, I'm going to correct myself. I want that, but I also want some action, you know,
Mhm.
because because is the thing because there's laws, there's actually a law that prohibits people that from firing disabled people from at work because they're being disabled. this
I
is
mean, but
this
if
is
you don't have
very
a working contract, you're technically not being fired. It's just that your services are not required anymore.
yeah, that's a
Hello.
caveat.
To
That's a caveat for that's yeah. I cannot speak from people that work without a contract because I don't have that knowledge. You have
Oh,
it,
but
and I
even then, they
appreciate
find
it.
other excuses. Like they will find any excuse to fire
Mm.
you. Like suppression of working place. It's like, oh, it's not that you're disabled. We just stopped having that working place for you for a week until we contract other person, and technically that was legal. Hello. They can do still the same thing, they technically can,
Yeah,
unless
but
you work
what
for the
I'm
public
saying,
system, which is a little bit more complicated. In
mm,
that sense, it's
mm,
a little bit more complicated.
yeah, what I'm saying is like they people say because it's like a common defense, a common like, oh, they fired me because I was doing this. That's what related to my disability, and people say like, oh, but you have this law that protects you. The law does not protect you.
Oh no.
No.
Fuck
But
that.
people say like, but there's this law that protects you, and I'm going to the fucking trial court. I mean, I've been dealing with a person like this, and
I don't even
this
have
is
the
the
energy to go to court. If I have to pick up my car
no,
again, I'll fucking kill
no. But people
myself.
just think like that. They just think like you can just like fight ableism going to the like the just there's a law and people are just violating the law. No, it doesn't work like that. They're going like they technically think that they're not discriminating you. They're firing you for being incompetent, even though your competence is related to disability, which is actually is not even incompetence. Is just part of a disability. Because it's a thing. I can be a very good person doing exams if I get enough practice. I can actually be good.
Hmm.
But what I've been in a kind of similar situation to those, kind of, but what still matters is how I appear, is how I present myself,
Yep.
is how I communicate, how I interact with people. This is what matters. I mean, even though I can actually have a decent communication with the patient, I'm not saying perfect, but I'm saying decent.
Hmm. I know,
But
but
it
if
doesn't
you
matter because
look
I'm not
disabled,
fulfilling.
ha
I'm
ha
not
ha
taking the
ha.
boxes. Yeah, and so if I'm, and this is scary as
It's
well.
a joke
If
about the
I
title of the podcast. If you look disabled, then you get fired because you fucking look disabled. So you better don't look disabled. That's the
yeah.
joke. That's the reference. Sorry, I'm very sleepy at this point. I don't know. I thought that was funny. That was funny in my head. I'm sorry.
No, it is. It's a way of escaping this terrible topic, I guess. Um,
Escapism. But today's topic is not about coping mechanisms as I thought it was for some fucking reason because we already did that one. But somehow I texted Rimbi today like an hour before the podcast or something like, yo, Rimbi, today's episode is about what? About coping mechanisms. And Rimbi was like, no, we did that one already. It's executive dysfunction. I'm like, oh, that thing. Okay, thank. That was a thing that happened today
oh
because
my
I wasn't
god.
procrastinating that because of executive dysfunction or anything. Fine.
No, it's okay. No, listen, you could because I don't get as mad to you because literally, they're gonna nail it anyway. I mean,
I need a counter for the amount of times I say I am fine in this podcast. I need a
uh,
command just called fine, which is a counter for how many times I say I am fine when I'm clearly not fine.
yeah, it's been noticeable that you're not fine. You're just saying to yourself that you're fine
I feel called out.
because you are being called out.
Damn. She'd be
Okay.
crazy like that sometimes.
No, no, I'm stuck again. No.
I wasn't. That was no.
Okay.
That was that.
No,
I wasn't.
no, it wasn't.
No, it was just me being me.
What? I thought it was unstuck this time. Oh no, 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 no. I'm being stupid right now. Okay, back to the topic, because that's I'm literally the manager of this podcast, really, and being a bad one, to be honest. So where was I? So there's this fear of like looking incompetent, even though I'm not. That's one fear. The second fear is if I'm going to lose all if I'm going to overwork myself and not having time to actually do the the stuff that I want, you know, that's the second thing. And um, since we live in a very strong overworked culture, it's like you have to work. It's fine if you have to work 12 hours. Literally, my stepbrother said that. Like, it's okay. We have to work to gain funds, even though I work like 12 hours. She was really having a Joker moment. She was laughing, like, not just, but like laughing like the Joker. Like, just realizing how much workload she had for the day. I was being empathetic. I was like, oh no, no, you're not fine. For Christ's sake, please go home, please, please, someone save you from this. And this was also the one of the factors for my breakdown, really, um, because it's so normalized, just overwork yourself. Um, but I was in a different topic. I know. Okay. The lack of support. Okay. So if you get fired, there's no support. There's no legal support. There's no nothing. Get fired, whatever, or laid off, or your services are not required, and you have to find another job. Which of course it involves routine changes and a
In
lot of
my
stuff.
case, it requires a miracle, and that miracle is called a colleague of mine was offered a job and they don't have the schedule to take it, so I'm taking that job instead. That's literally how I got to work in all the schools I teach at.
Networking. Yeah,
Yep.
networking. Yeah.
It's a miracle. It's like whenever someone asks me if I have the schedule to work at a school or not, I get a job or not.
I don't even have network. Like, listen, because I burned so
Understandable.
many bridges, unintentionally and intentionally.
Kind of same. I'm
I don't
surprised
even
that
have
people
that
still
as
have
a
my
support.
contact sometimes. I sometimes like people call me like, "Yo, do you wanna like that?" It hasn't happened in a long time, but like even like 2 years before I finished college, and people were like, uh, "Yo, do you wanna give classes in place X?" And I'm like, sure. How do you even have my number at this point? Yes, it was kind of that.
Mm, yeah, I'm less lucky on that part.
I was
Because
lucky.
also my class is a little more individualistic. That's why as well. Um, and also I think when I because I'm thinking again when I did that manifesto for Disableist,
Mm-hmm.
because I was also criticizing the emancipation movement. There's a strong emancipation movement in the disability community because they're like, we are able to work, we are also able to work, we are workers as well. And that is, I
I
mean, I
understand where they're
get it.
coming
In
from.
addition, yes, I do. But it is like you are literally being a prey. You're accepting to be a prey to
Mm-hmm.
this capitalist system, and I'm
Yeah.
extremely mad at you for doing that.
It's the thing is what they're trying to say is please take us seriously because we also have things to give, but what it ends up
Mhm.
translating as is we can be profitable if you give us a chance, so hey, make
Yeah,
money with us as well, let us sell
yeah, but
ourselves.
yeah, there's people that
uh,
genuinely, there's people that they want to pay the bills and such. Like they are desperate for companies to
of
accept
course,
them.
and please, if you
There's like,
can work,
yes,
do
please.
by all
I'm like
means.
I'm not the same situation. Like, listen, I'm not against that taking job in an inclusive company, even though I do oppose their way of thinking. Don't get me wrong. What I despise is really like you're going to afterward think that the system that the neoliberal system that
Mm-hmm.
it allowed you to, because if you live, because if the bosses, they saw you as as a workforce, that is
Mm-hmm.
to explore, because they recognize you as actual human beings. No, not actual human beings, but like, but the people that are willing to work and they actually have abilities. Like, you have this hyper focus thing, you have this whatever thingy, I don't know, and they actually can take advantage of that. That's when it gets on my brains, like
Mm-hmm.
on my nerves, sort of.
Yeah.
And they're going to, and then afterwards, the autistic people are going to think that the system is perfect. Like, oh, why does they are so inclusive? They accept me, and it's like
Okay, I
you
think you
are.
also gotta give them a little bit more credit than that. People are not gonna think it's perfect once they're there and they're gonna be fucking abused as fuck.
Okay, not so, okay. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Not perfect. I was. I'm going to take corrected. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're going to think it works. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I want to mean.
Mm-hmm.
It works, even though it doesn't. It is they are not really consenting, but they are being compliant to a system that is like that can use them. You know, they can that is coerces them. What I want to say is they think it's fine that that there's such system. That's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got what you meant. Okay,
That's my criticism,
I understand.
and I'm a
And
more proponent of a liberation movement. Sorry,
maybe I'm
because
not the
emancipation.
best person to speak about that in the sense that I actually don't look disabled, whatever the fuck that means. So I don't get discrimination for the way I present most of the time. Sometimes I do, but for most of it, um, I don't get that kind of discrimination. So I guess it's unfair of me to criticize when people are fighting to even have the chance to work if they want to. You know, because I feel like a lot of times what people are trying to say is if we want to work, we should be allowed to, you know. And it's
Yeah,
very
but
unfair of me to criticize that because if I actually need a
it's a
job at a
devil's part, you
supermarket
know.
or whatever, I have a
Mm.
curriculum saying that I worked in a million places and saying that I had the best grades of my course and that I am a very reliable person that is very smart and all of that. I have documents and documents pledging for me, and I have my presentation, the way I talk, the way I act, you know, on my side. If I need a job, I think that if I really need whatever job, I can at least get it. Not sure if I can perform it, but I can get it. So
Fuck.
I feel like it's unfair if I start judging people that can't get the job because of how they present and criticizing how they feel about it, you know?
Just, but here's the thing: I'm the person that probably would have a hard time to get the job, so I'm going to be the first person to
Yes.
say that that movement. Yes, yeah, basically. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just adding. I'm just complimenting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I guess I was trying to add to it in the sense
see,
that,
yeah,
from my perspective here on the outside of that specific topic, uh, this is how I tend to feel because I try to empathize with why do those people say that, you know, because they come from a completely different
no,
place
I
than my
also
own.
empathize. I
And
am.
I feel that's what they
Listen,
actually mean is
yeah,
if I want to work I should be able to, and you shouldn't judge that I can't work because of the way I present. I think that's what they're trying to
yeah,
say.
yes. See, yeah. I do understand, but there's like they're signing a devil's pact.
I
Literally,
know
that's what I'm saying. Like,
they
mhm,
are,
they are. So
but I'm not sure if I'm the
yeah, because
person to criticize that. I don't think it's my place to.
mm, yes, because you're feeling like it's not your way, it's not a place to
I
speak.
am not
I
oppressed in that specific thing. I am oppressed
even
in the sense that I
me,
am
even me.
obligated to work. So it's unfair that I criticize their experience because my experience, yes, is I am forced to work because I don't look disabled, and because of that, people put expectations on my workforce that do not exist. So my position towards my own situation is disabled people shouldn't have to work regardless because just because I look like I can work doesn't mean I can, you know? But
Mm.
that's a completely different reality. I look like I can work and I can't, and some of them might look like they can't, and yet they might be able to. They might be able to perform some of these tasks way better than me. So who am I to judge?
But perceptions. So
Mm-hmm.
societal perception. Well, me, I'm in a very weird limbo because either I kind of look disabled, but still seemingly functional.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm in a very weird place, to be honest, which puts me in contact with different perspectives. You know,
Mm.
and also it's kind of a dumb, to be honest. Like I am too disabled, and I'm very easy to be discriminated. But I'm still in the same way. I'm still. I look this dysfunctional, so I'm also expected to work. So it's kind of like, these things don't go well together.
They don't. You get the
They
worst of two
don't.
worlds.
that's what I realized when I was riding my bike. I was kind of like, I'm just getting the worst sides of like the autistic dark mask and autism that cannot mask because
Damn.
I'm this weird limbo, and I just hate that. And I believe that many people are as well. Like I'm just like the most egregious case because I think I don't know that much people that are in the same place as me. I don't think I know actually. It's either well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the point. What I'm saying is, um, I fear job interviews because it's going to be like, oh, they're going to take notes like, oh, they're kind of weird on interacting with me because I perceive that they're going to perceive that.
Mm-hmm.
I already like know that, and it's scary to you know uh, realize that they probably have a very terrible perception of me, and then I'm giving very terrible first impressions. And is it not get me wrong? I'm actually very prone to give terrible first impressions. I mean, literally, these people have a very distorted perception of me. So it's not like,
Me.
yeah,
Me.
yeah, yeah. Not just you, for Christ's sake.
Why
Not
would
just you.
anyone think that of me?
Uh,
I am not a judgmental person.
no, you're saying I'm not saying. I'm just saying that you had a distorted first impression of me.
Yeah.
And it actually at the time it made me put me perspective, like, probably I'm giving wrong first impressions, and that is actually impacting my life. Very interesting. Um, and also people actually bring. I cannot believe that people on this on the groups that I am, they actually really consider in oh my gosh disclosing diagnosis, and I just feel like, in what how privileged you are to even consider that. I'm sorry. There's no there is no I cannot believe this shit. Like people are really considered to actually disclose the diagnosis on. I know I'm being very controversial right now. I know that I'm being very controversial because because from
You
my
are?
experience, yes, because especially in very accepting groups, like accepting.
Mm-hmm.
I can be like, oh my goodness, you really like, because I say like, should I disclose diagnosis? Most of the times I would say no, you shouldn't, unless you feel really, really strongly that the environment is supportive, which is a very,
Oh,
very,
I
it's a
hide my
rare,
diagnosis literally
very
everywhere.
reality.
Unless I'm like working there for like 3, 4 years already, and I know that it's not really going to change anything, no one knows my diagnosis. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm
yeah,
probably going to
yeah,
get fired very soon, or my
yeah.
services will
And
not be
people just
required anymore.
I don't know how much help it actually is. It is in being those groups, those support groups, because I just like really like people really like considering disclosing us, and I just feel like agony or doom. At least it's more doom,
I never
because
felt like disclosing
you
my
really
diagnosis helped in any work circumstances. And I've done
no.
that.
For me,
It never helped.
uh, the first time that I did that was because I was coerced, and literally I was cancelled after they already were suspending me, but I had to be I had to be upfront because there's no way to actually to not explain what was going on, so I had to disclose it, and it was not helpful. And I just felt like not everyone in the school knows probably, not everyone, but like professors and stuff. They can actually mail my supervisors that I'm autistic without even knowing, and yes, that thought run in my mind when this week, because it's been my knowledge that one professor and one supervisor actually talked, and I got paranoid, and yeah, and it was scary to be honest. It was like I didn't felt visually scared. It was like a very cosmical horror type of thing.
Ah,
It's like
beautiful.
very eerie.
It's a kind of fear I don't feel often. I don't really know how it feels, I
It's kind of
think.
like it's kind of like you don't feel visceral, like you don't feel panic or something. It's like I already knew that they were going to do that, but it still happened. It's like fate type of thing, and I was trying to accept the fate that they probably have a very distorted perception of me now, and it's scary. I'm very afraid that it will impact my decision, the decisions that my evaluation, and people just that is why it's not safe. That's why I was also very ambivalent to also request for accommodation in university, and actually I never asked them
Hmm.
because stigma,
Yeah, I
really.
didn't have a diagnosis when
And
I
people
was
just
at
like,
college, but
and then you,
once again,
and I was
it
not
never
planning to
helped.
disclose. Never, I never planned to disclose it. But on that point, I had to because I was coerced, and I was like pressured to actually get like the the status whatever like special needs thingy paper
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I was not agreeing with that actually. I only get because people could not show up. I was also trying to
Mm-hmm.
get so I could go back to the place, so that was cancelled. So and when I go to the support groups, I just feel a very sense of ¿qué era eso?
Disconnect.
Yes, disconnection. Yeah, thank you. Because they feel they're so
Thanks.
proud of
That
having
that's
the.
a that's a thing I feel. So I was just hoping that it was the same with you.
No, it's just feel like what are you living the same reality? Literally, are you living the same reality as me? Are you living the same world as me? Where I'm just imagining things. I'm just being too negative all the time. It's difficult to be positive sometimes.
I
And
mean,
I'm
I am a
yeah.
very I consider myself to be a very realistic person, and I guess that sometimes being realistic does mean being pretty negative about some things because some things are pretty bad sometimes. It's not that I try
Yeah,
to look at
I
the
can
bad
imagine.
side of things, but sometimes things are bad, and sometimes things are good, and sometimes things are kind of neutral, but
So
a lot of times
no,
they are
yeah. So
pretty
no.
bad where I'm standing for, so
No,
I
so,
kind of
yeah.
have to look at them and address them, so I guess.
Yeah. And I cannot address them. Because no, you cannot. It's best for you to not disclose the diagnosis in job interviews. It is. It, don't expect your work environment to give you accommodations. Even if they give you accommodations, they're going to be insufficient. That's the thing. That's the reality we
Okay,
live
but
in. They
in the
can't fire
in a
you for being
way,
disabled.
if they're gonna give you some accommodations, it's better than having none. Like,
Okay, fine. Yes,
so
yes.
in that sense, but the thing is, in my particular case, I never once I shared my diagnosis and got anything good out of it. Once. I'm not saying that the bad things were worse than the good things. No, I'm saying I never got a good thing out of it, ever. But that's my personal experience. Uh, so yeah.
I'm saying this because my accommodations will probably require more than just having a different room, just like I don't know, like reduce stimuli, or I don't know what accommodations they can actually give. Actually, I can actually speak out of my ass because I'm feeling like I'm speaking out of my ass because I'm even not really sure what accommodations actually companies tend to give. I know that they give a little stimuli controlled environment. They can give you that, but I don't know others really. Or they allow you to wear shades or headphones.
Mm-hmm. I
I don't
wish
know.
I could wear my shades in class. I mean, I
But
guess
yes,
I can.
yeah,
No one is gonna stop me.
yeah, yeah.
No one's
Really.
gonna stop me.
I
But
cannot because I work in a hospital. I cannot wear shades. Please help autistic health professionals. We are in despair. We just feel like shit all the time. I don't know. Actually, this is the thing. They
and now I gotta wonder, isn't part of our executive dysfunction uh, even reinforced by the fact that we know that a lot of tasks are gonna be absolutely pointless? Be it because it's dishes and you dirty dishes and they're gonna be dirty again and you literally have to do that every day and doesn't seem like it's gonna be done, or because it's literally something that no matter how much you try to accomplish, you will always be disabled and there's no point in trying to do anything about it. It's always gonna be shit. I wonder how much of our executive dysfunction doesn't come from this realistic point of view of what tasks really are and where they come from.
Mm,
Sometimes,
yes,
some of them.
I do feel like Sisyphus myth. Do you know Sisyphus myth? Sisyphus. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sisyphus myth.
I didn't understand what you were trying to say, sorry.
Sisyphus myth. It's an ancient Greek myth.
I don't know Greek myth.
It's basically a guy that is punished by the gods. Because he did something. I don't know. He has to carry a big rock to the top of a mountain every single day until.
Yeah, that.
And then when he reaches the big rock to the top of the mountain, the big rock falls again, and he has to start again. That's what he feels to do chores for ADHD.
Yes. So, like, I'm
Yeah,
not saying that all executive dysfunction is that, but I do kind of wonder to what degree that doesn't make a lot of these tasks worse and make it so that we have even more trouble starting them. Because I kind of feel like that with
for
cleaning
being
the
pointless.
dust, the room is never clean. I finish cleaning the room and it's already starting to be
Oh
dirty.
yeah, yeah. I hate that. You know what I used to do? I used to clean it with a vacuum.
I cannot, but I
I do
cannot.
that. I
Listen,
do that. I'm so
listen,
mad. Like I just clean it with a vacuum.
listen. I tried to do that because I realized that would be faster, and I did have the means to, but the sound of the vacuum makes me melt down in 2 minutes.
Oh, okay,
I
okay, makes
cannot
sense.
vacuum things without having a meltdown. Sometimes even the thought of
Ooh,
starting to vacuum makes me enter a meltdown even before I start to vacuum things because of the sound and
which is like
also
another factor for extra dysfunction
because,
sensory overload.
yeah, because carrying things, carrying the vacuum around gives me pain. And sound and pain at the same time is not fun.
Hmm.
So even carrying the
Interesting.
vacuum from the place where it is to my room to start vacuuming it might induce me into an instant meltdown.
Oh, actually, I remember something. I don't want to ask you something. Do you
Mm.
actually feel like disgust by touching the dish, like the things, like the food that is left on the plate, like
I used to feel it way
it's
more
good. I feel it
because
all the time, and I just feel gross, and
I'm
I
gonna
cannot stop.
explain something to
And I
you. I am that person that is gonna make sure that the plate is as clean as it can be before putting it in water, and then I'm
mm,
gonna put it in water and detergent, like lots of
mm,
detergent, so that when I pick up the plate it's almost clean and I just need to, because I don't put plates with food on the thing that I'm gonna clean. I remove all pieces of food beforehand. That's how I do dishes.
yeah, I also do the same. Yeah.
So that tends to not happen a lot. But when it does, yeah. You know another thing that disgusts me for some fucking reason? The feel of
Mm,
dust. Dust in my fingers
mm,
feels overwhelming and weird and I don't like
mm-hmm.
it.
I see. Mm, oh yeah. For me, it's really the food. Because I even clean it after beforehand. I clean the bigger parts of the food that is left. Uh, but sometimes it has like it's still glued because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it is, and I feel like ugh, I have to touch this. It's like I don't have gloves, so I literally like I have to. Uh, this is too gross. I've learned to cope with that, but this becomes difficult if I can actually touch uh before they are washed. That like when I'm carrying them and I don't feel like I touched some food remaining, and I feel like in my hand the texture of it, it is ugh. I just feel like no, please no. Because I'm the person that every time that actually because this is very emblematic when I'm actually picking a cake like um, a piece of cake I don't cannot hand the cake with my bare hands. I had to take a napkin every time that I'm taking a piece of cake, and any type of cake, I had to do that. And I had to use a lot of napkins because I cannot handle food with my bare hands most of the times.
Yeah.
That's how averse to textures I am sometimes. And people find like, oh, it's a waste of napkins, but really that's how I
Yeah,
work,
but I also
fortunately.
kind of have that problem with initiating cleaning the dust to my room because the texture of the fabric and the dust itself makes my hands start feeling a little bit dry, and
I also
the
get
part
that.
of my hands next to my nails start feeling very weird and bad texture.
Mm-hmm. I see. Um. Well, I've been not cleaning my room for a while, to be honest. Oh, actually, I used to clean books. And actually, I didn't mind that much the dust. What I did mind was the smell.
Of what?
If there is
Sorry.
a smell, not of both books, it really smelled of burnt wood, which sometimes books can have if they are in
Oh,
near
gotcha.
a
Oh no,
fireplace.
it doesn't bother me because literally in my place
And for me, it is.
the
It is.
food is heated with wood and the water as well.
Eh, mm.
So basically every day there's fire inside the house, kinda. So I and it has been like that since I was born.
House is always burning down.
Yes, it has been always like that. So I it's a familiar smell actually. Although I did develop at some point an allergy to smoke that led to my
Mm.
almost asthma that then got controlled, and that intolerance or whatever it was went away, and now I can be near smoke again without triggering asthma principles, not principles, beginning, yeah, whatever.
There are symptoms.
Yeah, yeah, because it wasn't really asthma, it was more like it would develop into asthma if it wasn't treated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, see. Yeah. Uh, Another thing. That is a little bit out of where we've been talking, but still related.
Hmm.
Uh, I sometimes wonder if well, because I've been developing knee pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes I'm worried that it can actually get chronic and
Mm-hmm.
it can make me my heart a little difficult. Like stuff like I used to like that
Mm-hmm.
requires my legs,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do it. Because I had to prioritize to the things that give me the greens. There's also a fear of mine. Yeah, and you also deal with a lot of pain. So how the hell you will cope? I don't know. You cannot cope. That's the answer. Um, I just I don't know because
You need to see the doctor about that. You need to check what your knee problem
I
is and then work
know,
from
I
there.
know. Oh no! What are they going to give me?
I'm just saying that before you actually have an answer on
Anti-inflammatory, but
that,
that's
it's
I
kind
mean
of
it's
hard
not.
to know
I mean
because your
I don't
problem
know.
is probably way
But
more
you have
identified than
excessive
mine.
dysfunction to go.
Wait,
Yeah,
but didn't you ask
probably.
for an
But
appointment
I have
already?
excessive dysfunction. I cannot go. Yeah, but it's on November. But I was actually thinking going earlier. But it means like I had to go to the the daily appointments that are for people that have
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you just need to go there in the morning.
yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, but yeah, in the morning. Early morning. I mean, clearly I'm going to have the energy to go to the morning just say oh my god. No, I can't because I'm going to first I'm going to sell guys let myself say it's not nothing. I can wait until November. And second, it's early morning. I cannot start my unless it's work related, I cannot wake up early.
I see.
really.
I guess I just got so used to have to go to the doctor all the time that waking up to go to the doctor is already just a thing that I do.
Yeah. I will gaslight myself and say it's fine. That I can wait 1 month and a half. I think. Um, Also, because I have a lot of extra dysfunction just going to place because it's a thing. I've been delayed cutting my hair for, well, 6 months, I guess, think. It's been 6 months, I think. It's fine. because because of the thing. I made up my mind that the hairstylist is like 30 kilometers from here because she does a good job, and I cannot find another decent one near here. So, so here's that. Uh, so that's
Mm.
why I cannot cut my hair. So here's
Okay,
that.
so now
So
this
that's
is a
fine.
list of things
It's
we
fine.
can do due to executive dysfunction. That's what this podcast is now.
Exatamente.
Exactly. You'd switch
Exactly.
languages. I
Now it's
love
my
it.
podcast. Uh, I've been switching like I switched several times in this episode. Actually, I'm thinking of it. Um, what I cannot do because of extra dysfunction. I don't know. I was actually planning on doing. Yes, I know that, and I know this is relation to you. I know. Martial arts. Actually, I
Hmm.
was planning to do that for a while, and I cannot bring myself to do it because, yeah,
I practiced jujitsu until uh, pandemic, and now I
fucking
am
COVID.
like this.
I was thinking in doing martial arts because I was like, it was a way of like canalizing my rage in a slightly healthier way. I mean, it's probably not the purpose of martial arts, but anyways, I don't know. It's like many stuff that that I've been delaying to do, I cannot do because of its dysfunction, and that makes me sad. Basically, that's what you need to get me. Um, um, Sometimes it's
Yeah,
not even my fault. I cannot write because I have too much extra dysfunction, and I feel sad because I cannot write, and then it gets in a vicious circle. Mm, yeah, extra
that's
dysfunction
fair.
is depressing.
It's very depressing.
It is. You just delay everything, not just boring tasks. You actually delay also very fun tasks. You know.
Speaking of going to the hairdresser, I did procrastinate that as well for myself a lot, but that's because I wanted to cut my hair short, and I was kind of scared
Hmm.
of not on my own, but on basically everyone else. Because I kind of didn't want to give
Oh
explanations,
yeah.
but then I got the perfect excuse. Oh, I had a surgery and my hair was getting a lot, very hard to wash due to it. So I just decided to cut it short. It's just a question of being pragmatic, you know?
Sure. Sure. It's not because it gives you a shit ton of agenda for you.
No, 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 no. It's not because I'm literally a guy or anything. No, it's because it's because it's too hard to wash. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's,
It's the best thing. Entering the shower and only taking 5 minutes total, even when you wash your hair, is like, mwah, thank you. I love it. But yeah,
I mean, yeah.
but I did procrastinating a lot because
There.
of that.
Yeah.
What I procrastinated, and that's where Himby helped, was like getting a place to go. And Himby was like, sends me place, try that. And I'm like, literally the first place they sent me, and I just go there because I was procrastinating that so hard.
I also so I don't know. Yes, it was literally the first place that I found. Like, okay, you need a specialized hairstylist because you have this hair, like you have a very kinky hair.
Very what?
So it's an expression actually, kinky hair. It has
Damn,
it's yeah
I didn't know it. It's so weird.
it means like hair that is very curly and frizzy, like your typical African Mediterranean people's hair. They're
Hmm.
like that, the very curly and
But that expression
dry.
sounds so wrong.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because it's wrong. Just kidding. It's not. Is like yeah. It's me like listening to a lot of black people's music sometimes that I acquire sometimes the vernacular, and I remember being here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
was
literally.
procrastinating that.
Yeah.
I actually procrastinate
Yeah,
more with
and
finding
another.
places to go rather than actually doing the things afterwards. I'm a little bit like that.
So, so actually, I helped. I did something, guys. I did something. I helped Toad get this very beautiful haircut. I'm saying this with a very sarcastic tone, but it isn't. I swear to God, it isn't sarcasm. But yeah,
Maybe reasons why me and Jazz Cat are still the same dude. Jazz Cat also used to have long hair and then they cut it short. See? It keeps happening.
um, do you actually? Your first name is actually Christopher.
Mine, yeah, when it's not Dave.
Oh, that explains everything. Okay. So because
Jazz Cat,
okay, I
is
know
your
I'm
name
not trusting
Dave
the name.
on your free days?
It's just I'm loving this switching of identities.
Ah,
Um,
this
I don't know. You
will one day
probably
get
you
old.
like Barbie because I think you like Barbies and
Dave's
um
not here, man.
you I don't know what Australians do actually. I don't know. They are backwards. They are backwards people. They are cursed people.
I mean, Australians exist like other people. What are you talking about?
They are a backwards nation. You know,
So what does that mean?
it means like they are in the back of the world. You know, they're on the other side. You know, the reverse side. Don't you get it? Like they're. Don't you know the joke?
I mean, maybe. I'm bad with jokes. I'm
They
autistic,
probably.
remember? That means I'm bad with jokes. Isn't that what it
Oh right,
means?
you cannot do comedy. You cannot.
Clearly.
Autistic people are too boring. Well, we are
I
too
mean, I am
boring. We are.
clearly extremely boring, so, like, why are you even talking to me?
I don't know. I'm also
Speaking of
extremely.
that, I do think we should end because I am dying of sleep. Not gonna lie.
I'm also not very in the most proper mental shape. Proper mental shape. Yes, pretty
Yes, that
much the
was
expression.
definitely a thing you said.
I think we should end. I think okay. I'm going to conclude things because you're too sleepy. I had to take the role as the less drained disabled people here.
Yeah.
But take this with a big grain of salt because I'm kind of drained. Anyways, so we approached the we actually share our experiences about us with executive dysfunction. Um, and we can conclude that executive dysfunction is very depressing, very agonizing. Don't recommend it. It's shit. Um, and also how much misunderstood it is because who's going to explain to our bosses that it's not actually you're not lazy. We swear to God you are not lazy. We're just dealing with a dysfunctional working memory, a dysfunctional brain, literally. um, there's a lot of factors that actually makes us unable to work properly, those things. And so that's why it's misunderstood, and that's why it's very easily to put the blame on us, and that's why it gets difficult to actually get diagnosed with ADHD because you still blame ourselves for being lazy. We're just lazy. We don't have ADHD. We're just lazy. We don't have depression. We're just lazy. That type of thing.
Clearly.
So, and so it's and so we made light to this issue. Uh, and we also contextualized the executive dysfunction in the system that we live in because we personally think that is very relevant to do this contextualization. And we also brought up a little bit. I mean, we spent a lot of time just talking about how much work is ableist and how actually can be easily be fired from being disabled. Um, but that's pretty much it. I think we bring light to the issue. I think we contributed something to the table, to the discussion. We have a very small public, but this thing is going to be available on YouTube someday. I don't know.
Please download
uh,
it.
please. Don't worry, I've been taking care of the downloads. So yeah, I think we did
I
the
think we
thing.
bye bye.
we did the thing. The thing is done. The thing is discussed. I don't know how to add
Yeah,
this.
I am gonna start to rate.
I think so. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, see you next week. We will decide on a topic and eventually do something related to the topic, or maybe not, because we always go on tangents. And see you next week. Bye
See
bye.
you.